Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast. On Grown Folks Talking, express yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please, join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience of the New African Black Panther Party, NABPP North. All power to the people.
I'll be having a conversation with people, and they'll be like, so what do we do? What is our option? How do we change our material condition? How do we change the reality around us? And I mean, you can't do that. This is from our food program. I mean, so that's why I'm starting off like this to show everybody like the things that you can do in the community. As Panthers, we come together in North to get this food to go out and give to the families that are starving. We all know, if we live in these communities, we know how hard times are. We're all going through it. We eat the same food too. We take the food in our home and we put them in our building. This is our This is our doing the school year all year round. We don't have enough money to go build a school to be able to bring in all these children and stuff. We don't have all of that. But we can create an after-school program. And this is one of the ways we bring the kids in with the after-school program so they can come in for us to give them that knowledge and teach them and try to help guide them through this reality, through this world. Hey, you said they teach you about 9/11 in school? Yeah. What did they teach you about 9/11? Why did the plane hit the buildings? You got to say it loud enough so I could hear it. That's what they taught you, that the Muslims hijacked the plane? That's okay. That's okay. Relax. But why did they crash into the Twin Towers? Anybody? Hey, what you were saying, Major? Hold up, let Major speak. What'd you say, Major? But why did they crash into the Twin Towers? So they crashed into the Twin Towers to go to New York. They died to go to New York. Oh, they wanted to go land in New York, but they crashed into the Twin Towers. So anybody else got something to add? Archie, you got something to add? What you want to add? That's it? So nobody can tell me why the planes crashed? Why the planes did that? Nobody can tell me? But don't you think the school should tell you why? Yeah. So, like, if the school not telling you why, what does that mean? Wow. Whoa, where you get gatekeeping from, bro? But where you learn that at? You say me? You burnt out, yo. You burnt out. Nah, but the reason why they crashed into the Twin Towers is because the American government, America was going to their country, taking their natural resources, stealing their stuff, killing their people. So they got mad. They stole a plane and they came and crashed it on the World Trade Center to get back at America. That's why they did it.
So it wasn't a plane?
No, it wasn't one plane. I think it was 2 or 3. Was it? I think it was one. Was it? No, I think there was one in DC and there was one in Philly or something like that. That they, yeah, huh?
What the Twin Towers, and then another one tried to crash into the place that Trump was.
The Trump Tower? There ain't no plane trying to go to the Trump Tower. The White House? Did the plane try to go to the White House? The plane one way to the Pentagon. But these people be lying. The media be lying. The politicians be lying. So you never know what's true. But while they really did it, they said because America was going over to their countries and they were killing their people, they were taking their resources and they were putting military bases in their country. So that's why they did it. I mean, that's why they went over there and did it. So they call that blowback. Like when you go to another country and you do stuff to them, and then they come back over here and do something, like they call that blowback. It's like give back.
So then another country.
You said they did more? Then we going to die. If they knew, because we going to die. I don't want to die. But we're going to continue this later, y'all. Behind it, y'all. We're going to continue later. This is how summer basketball going on right now. Every day from 9 to 1, we have this basketball camp that that the kids come out. Yo, it's all about organizing and finding ways to bring people out, bring the children out to be able to organize them. I mean, when you're doing these things to bring the children in, to bring the community in, yo, you got to be serious. You can't be playing around with this. It was like when the kids come here, at the end of the summer, they're stronger, they're faster, they're quicker, and they know more about the game, about the sport than they did before. We watch their minds develop every day. While we're talking about Pantherism, what do we do? What are the solutions? There's solutions here. I mean, the solutions is organizing our own community, creating an economic base where we can be able to feed ourselves, take care of ourselves without having to bow down to somebody else, without having to beg somebody else for our humanity. Yo, I refuse to go beg anybody to give me humanity. I will take my humanity by force. I understand I am not free. We understand we are not free as Panthers. Hey, we're running a little late today, man, so I'm going to speed this up. It's already 12:11. Yeah, I usually like to let this play out so everybody can see what we're actually doing instead of just talking. Because when you go to podcasts, when you go to these spaces, everybody got a podcast now. And they're usually just running their mouth. They're just talking about their opinions and how they feel. They never show anything in practice that they're doing. You see Comrade Jack right there. You see Comrade Poppy standing in the back over there by the door. And Comrade Jack is the one standing up with the white hat. Yo, this is our council meeting. This is the People's Council meeting. This is not City Hall. This is not the government. It's not funded by corporations. Yo, these are the council meetings we have. They get people in to discuss what's going on in the community, talk about what they're dealing with, and then find solutions how to solve them. Once the people walk away from those institutions, from City Hall, from the government, once the people walk away from there, then you have a revolution. Then things start to change. And they will wither away and die without even throwing a stone at them. All you need to do is collect the minds of the people in the community. Once you have their minds, once they understand and you highlight the contradiction and they know what's going on, there's nothing anybody can say to change their minds. So but I'm gonna speed up, man. Every Sunday when we come, it's reading a book, but we listen to the audio that's often done by one of the comrades in the party. Today, I believe it's done by Captain Patience. She's doing the reading. Hey, are we still on chapter 9, right? Yeah, we're on chapter 9 of the Philadelphia Negro. That we go back in history to read and study how we got to where we got to. And we learn from our luminaries how to change our present condition. The first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. The first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. Education is huge. Without education, you're nowhere. I mean, so I'm going to start the audio, and play it. I think it's 19 minutes long. I might stop it twice, but it's important. It's important for you to listen and understand what they're talking about. Yo, take notes, because once we finish that, we're gonna go into the news of the day. What's going on right now? What's been in the media? And you already know. You've heard it. If your mind is a little bit politically conscious, you know what we're about to talk about. I mean, as soon as I put it on, you'll be like, oh, because we're talking about things that matter, that pertain to what's going on right now in our communities. So when I put the audio on, please listen to the audio and try to understand what they're talking about, and then try to visualize. I used to watch Cosmos, and he used to start off the Cosmos show by saying we about to use this ship and we about to travel time, whatever. They had a little video. You see, they got money. They had the video. They got the little spaceship, and they used to get inside the spaceship and they used to act like they're going through time. I thought it was a cool idea, but like, try to visualize the time period, 1896, because this is when Du Bois was writing the Philadelphia Negro, 1896. Try to put your mind in that space. I'm about to put it on. After that, we're going to go right into the conversation of what we mean to talk, what we're going to talk about today.
Clerks, semi-professional, and responsible workers. Under this head has been grouped a miscellaneous mass of occupations. Clerks.
All right, so this is chapter 9. If this is your first week here, this is chapter 9. Now, Du Bois is going through the different jobs that the people in the community had, and why they only had those jobs, and what played a role into them only being able to have those jobs. He's talking about immigrants. He's talking about the black people, not just the black people, because he separates them in class. He's talking about the free black people, and then he's talking about the slaves, those that were still on the plantation. I mean, and listen to how he talks about them too, because that's very important. I mean, because Fred Hampton told us we're in a class war, goddammit. Listen to how Du Bois is telling, or not telling his story, but listen to his perspective on the data that he's collecting. Yeah, that's better. That's better, his perspective.
In public and private service, stewards, messengers, musicians, agents, managers, and foremen, actors, policemen, etc. That class of persons whose position demands a degree of attainment in education, reliability, talent, or skill. Here the number of Negroes is small, but they are nearly as well represented as in trades, an indication of a rather abnormal development. Of 46,393 men in this class of occupations in the city, policemen, watchmen, agents, commercial travelers, bankers, and brokers, bookkeepers, clerks, and salesmen, and barkeepers, 327, or 0.7%, were Negroes. If we add this to stewards, messengers, musicians, and clerks in government service, they form about 1% of those in the city. Nearly all the clerks and salesmen are to be found in Negro stores, although there are a few exceptions. There are about 60 colored policemen on the force at present, and the general impression seems to be that they make good average officers. They were first appointed to the police force by Mayor King in 1884. At first, there was violent opposition, which would have been listened to had it not been for political complications. The Negro policemen are put on duty mostly in or near the chief Negro settlements, and no one of them has yet been promoted from the ranks. The number of Negroes in government service is as follows.
As they're talking, I'm taking my notes too. So when you see me looking down, I'm taking notes. I mean, like this way, the Negroes in government: Custom House 1, Post Office 17, Navy Yard 1, Municipal Departments 11. So I'm taking my notes because when I stop in a few minutes, that's the stuff I'm going to talk about. Please take notes.
Besides these, there are a number of messengers and ordinary laborers. In many cases, these clerks have made very excellent records, as in the case of the discount clerk in the tax office, who has held his position for many years, and is perhaps the most efficient clerk in the office. Or again, the Negro postmaster and employees in the post office at Wanamaker store, who have been unusually successful in administering the second largest substation in the city. In a few cases, certain Negroes have received office through political influence and have been plainly unfitted for their work. There are a few clerks in responsible positions, one employed by the Pennsylvania Railway Company, another in a bank. Such cases, however, are rare. Laborers, the great mass of the men and a large percentage of the women are manual laborers. Teamsters, janitors, stevedores, cloud carriers, hostlers, elevator men, sailors, china packers, and night watchmen. Their wages are usually
And 1 to 150 a day. Janitors, Steve, whatever.
besides these, there are the ordinary porters, errand boys, newsboys, and day laborers, whose earnings vary considerably, but usually are too small to support a family without much help from wife and children. Stevedores, odd carriers, and day laborers are especially liable to irregular employment, which makes life hard for them sometimes. The mass of the men, save in the lower grade, given average wages and meet their greatest difficulty in securing work. The competition in ordinary laboring work is severe in crowded cities. The women day laborers are on the whole poorly paid and meet fierce competition in laundry work and cleaning. The most noticeable thing about the Negro laborers as a whole is their uneven quality. There are some first-class, capable and willing workers who have held their positions for years and give perfect satisfaction. On the other hand, there are numbers of inefficient and unintelligent laborers on whom employers cannot rely and who are below average American labor in ability. This unevenness arises from two causes: the different training of the various groups of Negroes composing the city population. Some are the descendants of generations of free Negroes, some of trained house servants, long in close contact with their masters' families. Others are the sons of field hands, untouched and untrained by contact with civilized institutions. All this vast difference in preparation shows vast differences in results. The second reason lies in the increased competition within the group and the growing lack of incentive to good work, owing to the difficulty of escaping from manual toil into higher and better paid callings. The higher classes of white labor are continually being incorporated into the skilled trades, or clerical workers, or other higher grades of labor. Sometimes this happens with Negroes, but not often. The first-class stitcher can seldom become foreman of a gang. The hod carrier can seldom become a mason. The porter cannot have much hope of being a clerk, or the elevator boy of becoming a salesman. Consequently, we find the ranks of the laborers among Negroes filled to an unusual extent with disappointed men, with men who have lost the incentive to excel, and have become chronic grumblers and complainers, spreading the spirit further than it would naturally go. At the same time, the shutting of the natural outlet for ability means an increase of competition for ordinary work. Without doubt, there is not in Philadelphia enough work of the kind that the mass of Negroes can and may do to employ at fair wages the laborers who at present desire work. The result of this must, of course, be disastrous and given rise to many loafers, criminals, and casual laborers. The situation is further complicated by the fact that in seasons when work is more plentiful, temporary immigrants from the South swell the numbers of laborers abnormally. Every spring, the tide of immigration sets in, consisting of brickmakers, teamsters, asphalt workers, common laborers, etc., who work during the summer in the city and return to the cheaper living of Virginia and Maryland in the winter. This makes the competition in summer close for Philadelphians and often brings actual distress in winter. A pressing duty is to see that the opportunities for work in the city are not misrepresented, and to relieve congestion in some avenues by opening others to Negro labor. Nor would this be a boon simply for Negroes. The excessive competition of Negroes in certain lines of work makes more suffering for their white competitors than if that competition were less intense in places and spread over a larger area. White hot.
Yeah, what does that sound like? Come on, let's get some interaction here. Talk to me. What does that sound like? What you just said about the competition between the blacks and white. Like if the blacks get jobs, let me bring it back a little bit.
Work makes more suffering for their white competitors by opening others to Negro labor. Nor would this be a boon simply for Negroes. The excessive competition of Negroes in certain lines of work makes more suffering for their white competitors.
Yeah, what does that sound like? You wanted to say
That's
something?
capitalism. This ain't nothing new that we're going through right now. Versus people saying, "Oh, don't come from across the borders," or "You coming." This is capitalism needs an influx of new Americans to lower the floor. They're going to blame it on the people who just come, but this is how the system works. We're trying to keep this floor as low as we can so we can make as much money at the top, and that's capitalism. It's been going on since the very beginning. It even happened between slaves and whites from Europe who was indentured servants. The indentured servants got mad at the slaves. They said, "Man, they taking our jobs. You ain't got to pay them no money." At least we was getting a pair of shoes and a change of clothes each season, but so it's just capitalism.
All power to the people. Nah, you're 100% correct. Like everybody act like what we're going through, what we're dealing with today, all these things are new. Nah, this is what happened under capitalism. And until you deal with the real root issue, you're never going to deal with it. You're never going to fix it. You're going to have the same issues back and forth. Like right now, we complain in our communities because everywhere you look, you see people from South America. Like if you drop to any construction site, they have people from South America working there. I mean, it is what it is. That's what people see. So when the local people see that, the black people that are trying to get jobs, just like back then, he's telling you that people were fighting to get jobs. They were trying to get jobs that were not there. They're going to start blaming each other. They're going to start fighting with each other because the government, the system that's controlling everybody is basically telling everybody that the problem is everybody else, not the system. Not the rich people that's controlling our lives. That's not the problem. The problem is the people that came over from Guatemala, walked over here, came through the desert, came through water, came through all this stuff because their country were bombed, their governments were overthrown, and there's no work over there. They can't take care of their families. So these people are like, you know what? For me to survive, we're going to need to migrate. So they do whatever they can to try to get somewhere where they could get jobs. And then the people that are over here look at them as they're the problem instead of dealing with the issue at hand, which is capitalism/imperialism. Those are the people that you have to deal with. And until you deal with them, nothing will change. And while I'm listening to Du Bois, I keep saying it. Like, as a sociologist, he could not, this can't be malpractice. He knew what he was doing. I see him just like I see all the other Negro whisperers, black people that's running around here trying to speak up for white supremacy or trying to protect white supremacy, but acting like they're delivering a message to the people. I see him just the same way by reading this. What do he say? Police officers. You notice in our community, all they say is, they keep saying it in the black community. All they keep saying is we need black police officers. If we get black police officers, everything gonna change. You don't want black police, it doesn't matter what color the pig is. A pig is a pig. What Fred said, they got black pigs, they got white pigs, sometimes they got black and white pigs.
They all.
You say what?
There's also another caveat to what you were saying. Since America does elite immigration, they normally allow people to immigrate from countries that are extremely classist and racist. So they taking a certain type of people and they bring them over here, and then they go through an educational process. The same way they did the Native Americans, the same way they did the Irish, the same way they do other groups. So when these people do come over here, they do have this miseducation about, the people that's here don't want these opportunities, right? They don't see it as America just destabilized my home country and now I got to come here. A lot of those people who understand that concept, they leave them where they at because they know they're going to come over here and align with the people and fight against this American empire. So they bring over certain people who they know is going to assimilate into their system, who's already conditioned to assimilate into the system. So that's where you come and they say, Black Americans are lazy, or, Vivek Ramaswamy, he even tried to make the case about white people until they kicked him out of MAGA. He was saying, hey, a lot of y'all lazy. They said, oh, no, you got to go. But it's also the miseducation part that comes along with it. That's the spark that lights the fire that gets people at each other. But you're right. At the end of the day, those at the top is just making more and more and more and more money as we fight at the bottom.
But we fight each other. Hey, somebody else wanted to say something. I saw you come up real quick. Go ahead.
Power to the people, Mitakuye, Yasin. I represent the Lenape, right? The Aboriginals of this land, and it's called assimilation. So it's assimilation not between black and white. It's the have and the have-nots. Capitalism, right? I worked for the banking institutions for about 6 or 7 years. I worked in the banks during the 2008 crisis, right? Capitalism is birthed out of racism, and it needs somebody to have, and it needs somebody to have not. So while everybody like fighting for the crumbs, no matter if you black, Irish, Italian, Aboriginal, if you fighting for the crumbs of their system, then they're able to cause divisiveness throughout the entirety. And even you just brought up with W.E.B. Du Bois, the talented 10th, right? W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, they didn't fuck with Marcus Garvey. Like, it's like they were going against, because Garvey was like, look, we don't need their shit. We don't need to be at their table. They need to come to our table. So until we get to the point where we're showing our community that we don't need fucking capitalism, we the bag, we the gold, we don't got to chase your job, we don't have to shuck and dive to get into your office, like, we're going to keep having these moments. And I'm Mac, by the way. Peace to the room. Thanks for the invite, bro.
All power to the people. Hey, yo, Megabyte, you wanted to say something, Megabyte?
Yeah, I wanted to throw the comment out, especially because he was talking about, oh, you got these, all these, people who aren't working, and of course they're going to become criminals, and I forget what other words he used in there. I wanted to point out, I think it was from last week's reading. I'm pulling from memory, so I'm leaving off the decimals, but the black population was something about 4% of the city, and they made up about 1% of the workforce. I'm remembering the numbers correctly. So yeah, they're kept out of the workforce, kept mass unemployment rates. So of course, there's going to be some problems with people figuring out how to survive.
All power to the people. Hey, but like the people that usually are the ones that they claim are speaking for the people, they never talk about that. They never talk about how it is a systematic thing. These jobs are here at the behest of human beings. I'm going to say that again. All these corporations that exist are supposed to be here at the behest of human beings. We are not here to serve these corporations. You see, it's been inverted. It's been twisted around to seem like we, human beings, are here to serve corporations. It is sad to see that, because all the crimes that are committed against the people, by and large, come from these corporations, come from the social ills that they have created. We're going to go on forever. Let me try to finish this video.
If that conversation were less intense in places and spread over a larger area. White hog carriers and porters suffer greatly from competition, while other branches of labor are artificially protected, and economic injustice which might be remedied.
Artificially protected. Who's artificially protecting them? Because everybody thinks everything we're dealing with is organic. This is how life is. This is how it's supposed to be. People don't behave like they can change what is going on. You can definitely change it. These laws, these rules that we follow are man-made. And if they're made by men, they can be undone by men and women.
Another custom that works much harm to all classes and colors of laborers is the custom of working exclusively white or exclusively colored gangs of workmen. It is unjust to the Negro because it virtually closes the greater part of the field of labor against him, since his numbers are small compared to the population of the city, and it is harder for him to gather gangs than for whites. It is, however, a fruitful cause of injustice to white laborers, for the contractor who gets a gang of Negroes to work has a temptation to force down wages which he seldom resists or cares to resist. He knows that the standard of living of the Negro is low, and their chances for employment is limited. He therefore takes upon a gang of Negroes, lowers wages, and then if whites wish to regain their places, they must accept the lower wages. The white laborers then blame the Negroes for bringing down wages, a charge with just enough truth in it to intensify existing prejudices. If laborers on ordinary jobs were hired regardless of color and according to efficiency, no doubt both white and black labor would gain, and the employer would not in the long run lose much. Servants. Probably over 1/4 of the domestic servants in Philadelphia are Negroes, and conversely, nearly 1/3 of the Negroes in the city are servants. This makes the Negro a central problem in any careful study of domestic service, and domestic service a large part of the Negro problems. The matter thus is so important that it has been made the subject of a special study appended to this work. A few general considerations only will be advanced here. So long entrance into domestic service involves the loss of all social standings and consideration. So long will domestic service be a social problem. The problem may vary in character with different countries and times, but there will always be some maladjustments in social relations when any considerable part of a population is required to get its report.
Can you pause it right there?
I got you.
Or effect to the five.
What's up?
I just want you to replay that, and I want people to think about the gig economy now. How you can have somebody come and walk your dog, drive you to the store, clean your house, cut your grass. Like, just think, like, this stuff doesn't change. It's like technology. It reinvents itself in a different form. It's the same thing that's happening now.
Hey, yo, Ibrahim, next week, bro, come with your video on, man. Because I want to post you talking, bro. I want to post everybody talking. Try to put your video on so I could post. Because we having good conversations here. But, yo, that is so deep, bro. Because it really doesn't change. Hey, yo, I remember during COVID, yo, I had 2 jobs. I was working at Amazon, delivering packages, and I was working at the post office. And I remember when I used to be in the Amazon truck, yo, I used to be going around delivering tissue. Because people didn't leave their house, like during COVID. Like the people that have money didn't leave their house. So tissue, toothbrush, M&Ms, anything you could think about, pads. This is the stuff that I was delivering to people's homes. And they didn't leave their house. They stayed in their homes. But the poor people, the people that didn't have no money. Remember, it's a class struggle. We had to go out and deliver all this stuff to them. But you're 100% correct. Let me see. I think I brought it back.
In the United States, the problem with entrance into domestic service involves the loss of all social standings and considerations. So long will domestic service be a social problem. The problem may vary in character with different countries and times, but there will always be some maladjustments in social relations when any considerable part of a population is required to get its report in a manner which the other part despises or affects to despise. In the United States, the problem is complicated by the fact that for years domestic service was performed by slaves, and afterward, up till today, largely by black freedmen, thus adding a despised race to a despised calling. Even when white servants increased in number, they were composed of white foreigners, with but a small proportion of Native Americans.
Yeah, that is all class. It's all class. If you pay attention and you're listening, you see, Du Bois is not saying that. At this point, Du Bois is still talking that color line stuff. But if you listen, like the whites that they brought over here, those were the ones that were that was working as servants. It wasn't the whites that was already here. And then they had Native Americans, and then they had black people. Our issue is a class struggle. And if you refuse to accept that, and you think it's just race, go ahead, Ibrahim.
Now, you got to keep in mind this. Almost all gig corporations have never made a profit. This is something that the American government finances. So the American government is financing these big corporations that make people billionaires, right, that don't make a profit. This is all done because the American government said this is something that America needs. So they're saying that America needs a subservient class to go out and do domestic work for its richer citizens, right? This all, like, you could flip this around, and America can say, we just need more robust welfare programs. We need a UBI. We need Medicare for all. But it doesn't. It says we need to service the wealthiest people, our wealthiest citizens, and we're going to do this by creating a gig economy of domestic laborers and pay them pennies on the dollar and allow somebody else to privatize these companies and create billions of dollars, all coming from the government. Like, these are the institutions that those in power fight for and say this is what our citizens need. And we don't. We don't need this at all.
No, we don't. You're 100% correct, man. But it's like, if we don't come together, we start working together, we start organizing together, there's no way we can affect these people. We can't change nothing they're doing unless we're working together. And we're going through this. We're reading this. We're going through history, understanding that our conditions is not new.
What we're dealing with is not new. It's not a new phenomenon.
Thus, by long experience, the United States has come to associate.
One more thing. And like Fox News, MSNBC, CNN. He was just saying the government support these programs. If you go do a study and you look into these major media corporations, they're not making money. Fox News, I forgot who owned it, whatever his name is, somebody here know. They wasn't making money. They use those tools to be able to influence how people think. Rupert Murdoch. But you go look and you see they're losing money. I mean, people don't even watch the news no more. But these institutions are not going nowhere because they're going to be propped up by the government because they need them. What they call them? The press, what the state media. These are state media. That's how they function. And you're going to see as we go along, because we got other stories to talk about. You're going to see what I'm talking about, what I mean by that. You see, I always do this goofy stuff. Yeah, man.
This makes the Negro a central problem in any careful charge with just enough truth in it to intensify existing prejudices. If laborers on ordinary jobs were hired regardless of color and according to efficiency,
another minute or so ahead,
black labor would gain, and the employer wouldn't.
You wanted to say something?
I said we're about a minute ahead. We heard this.
You good? That's what I'm talking about, my boy. You good right there? Am I good right there?
I think slightly further ahead.
Slightly further, boom, hit it right there.
If whites wish to regain their places, they must accept the lower wages. The white laborers then blame the Negroes for bringing down wages. A charge with just enough truth in it to intensify existing prejudices. If laborers on ordinary jobs were hired,
just enough truth to intensify prejudices. Just enough truth, like there are no black people working in them construction jobs. When you drive by, there are no black people there. So when somebody see that, somebody that doesn't understand the history, doesn't understand how capitalism works, is just enough truth. Like they driving by and they see no black person there. Like, damn, the problem is just Mexicans, it's just Guatemalans, and they're not talking about the jobs that's hiring these people, the people that's going over there destroying their governments, for them to have to travel all the way here. They don't see none of that. All they see is that it's only Spanish people that's out there working. There's no black people out there. And so they go off that. Just enough. Just enough.
Chairman.
Go ahead.
There's a seafood warehouse or something in Newark, New Jersey that's been raided twice. The first time it was raided, the Rod Baraka, the mayor, was on the press conference talking about we're not going to mention the owner's name. The second time it was raided, the owner still hasn't been prosecuted or locked up or charged. But they just letting these corporations hire illegal labor because they can continue to press
slave labor.
They allow them to, hire slaves so they can keep wages down. And we are in a black town ran by a black mayor that's out there talking about he's fighting for the immigrants, but he's allowing these businesses, slumlords, and we're going to talk about slumlords later in the program, but he is allowing all these people to cause harm and do crime against the people.
All power to the people. Hey, and when you see when the video is done, the general secretary put it together before she posted it out. Hey, when you cut the video up, make sure you have that after you speak, make sure you have that video of him giving that press conference so we could show people. Like, we're not just making stuff up here. I mean, we're in a class struggle, man. I told you, we follow Fred Hampton. I mean, we follow the Black Panther Party. And from our studying, our issue is a class struggle. It's not about gay people. It's not about women. It's not about black men. It's not about this. It's not about that. We're in a class struggle. But go ahead, brother.
Regardless of color and
my bad. Go ahead.
So the Democrats have always promoted killing our children. The Democrats have always promoted going to their constituents, whoever pay their pockets, right? So I went to Oakland, right? And the same problems in the Oakland Black Panther Cubs, it still exists because of like you said, classism. And I studied Marxism, right? Marxist is a German dude, right? And love war. So like everybody that followed his lead all the way to the end, you got to go out like a soldier. So shout out to Fred Hampton for going out like a soldier and all our leaders. But in that, being able to point the finger at our classism. Let me breathe. With Marxism being able to pit people against each other to get a point across, they don't provide the solutions for us to be able to take care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, so that when the dollars do go away, we still got a barter system. We still know how to take it. We still could feed our people. That's why the Black Panthers really put a dent in the American system, because we were feeding our people. We were protecting our people, and nobody was taking a paycheck for it. They was doing it because it felt it needed to be done. So until we do that here, until we have that here, all these Democrats, because 90% of the melanin-dominant or melanin-abundant people are voting Democrat because their grandmother voted Democrat and their grandfather voted Democrat. But until we expose the fact that they're Democrats and they're just sacrificing us, like they blood sacrificing us, blood, sweat, and tears sacrificing us, that's when the shift is going to happen.
Got you. I had lost my pen just then. I was looking for my pen. I dropped it.
Hey, we're only granted the blessing of the pursuit of happiness. We're not supposed to actually get it.
No, that is true. But it's like from all this. Go ahead. What you said?
I said, fuck civil rights because they only for slaves. That's why we got inalienable rights. It's God's law for us to pursue happiness. It's God's law for us to own and provide for our family. No one talks about inalienable rights. They call them human rights, but it's actually inalienable rights. And until we learn the wordplay, because all this shit is wordplay, they ain't shooting us now. They contracting us now. They're putting in contracts and words and putting us in these circles where we're chasing the tail, and people like Africa is fighting people like us, and fuck all that. Fuck all that.
You good, you Gucci, all power to the people. Nah, that's 100% correct. They have us fighting each other, going back and forth, and we really not focused. Where's that alarm? Where's that alarm at? Is that in here?
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yo, you burning the house down, General Secretary? Yo. But
that means with conversation is talk. Whenever the fire alarms go off, that means, or a fire truck ride by your house or a dump truck, that means we spoke some shit that set fire to all the people that support these Democrats. And I'm so glad to see that the fact that Ross J. Whack Baraka, whack ass Mac is gonna get exposed for his Democrat shit because he's acting like he a civil rights movement. Actually, he is a civil rights movement leader because civil rights is wanting to keep the melanated people enslaved. And ask Massa to be like, come give me some rights. Massa, no, I'm God. I have rights already. I don't need you to grant me those rights.
All power to the people. Nah, that's absolutely true, man. Like we don't need nobody to give us no rights. But I was saying, like with Marxism, even with Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, you go back and study because with time, you have data. Like right now, we have data and scientific evidence that Fred Hampton didn't have, that Malcolm didn't have, that Garvey didn't have. So if we're still where they were at 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 years ago, then there's a problem. You take from these people and you put it together and you use the data that you've collected from all these years and you mix it all together to form an analysis. You don't just stay stuck. Like, I'm going to give you an example. Marx and Lenin didn't believe you could organize the people in the streets. The people starving, the poor people in the streets, the lumpen proletariats. They didn't feel you could organize them. The Black Panther Party said that's what you need to organize. Those are the people that are now wedded to this society, that don't belong to this society, that are catching the most hell. So if you organize those people, you'll be able to overturn the way society is. But if you go to the workers, who are whores by definition, workers are paid off. They're whores. They're going to do whatever they're going to do for that paycheck. So you go into these companies and you thinking like, we're going to form a union to be able to liberate ourselves, to free ourselves. Those same union members will stab you in the back for a raise. So what we do, what pastors say do, is go in your communities. Open up your door and go talk to your neighbor. Go outside and talk to the person that live across the street. Organize the community you in. And then I'm organizing the community I'm in. And then we link up together all across the globe. This is how you change things. So we go from, we go from Fred Hampton, we go from Marx, and then we go to Huey P. Newton. Huey P. Newton said we have no nation states. The same thing the brother was talking about just now. These states are not here to support us. They don't listen to us. They do whatever they want to do. So there are no nation states that defend the people. He said we are a community. We are communities scattered all around the world. And if you want to change anything, each community must organize itself and start to link up globally. Intercommunalism. That's what U.P. Newton called it. And we in 2025. Name me one country, one state, one town, one island that fights for the people, that serves the people, that is not affected by imperialism and capitalism. I don't know any. We could go to Africa, we could say Torre, the people. I'm not sure. I don't know about Torre. The information that I'm getting from wherever, I don't trust nothing unless I see it and I see the evidence for myself. I trust nothing. I hear what's going on. They talking about Torre. Guess what? They were talking about Bolsonaro in Brazil like that. Talking about go vote for Brazil, support Bolsonaro, support this. Hey, Lula. Support Lula. And Lula is the president now. Nothing in Brazil has changed. They say support Mandani. Ain't nothing in New York going to change. They say vote for that woman for governor here. They say vote for Biden. They say vote for Trump. They say vote for Obama. No matter who you vote for, nothing changes. Because we're in a class struggle. We got to get through this video. I'm not talking no more. I'm going to get through it. So take your notes. We're going to talk at the end of it. I got probably like 10 more minutes left.
No doubt, both white and black labor would gain, and the employer would not in the long run lose much. Servants. Probably over 1/4 of the domestic servants in Philadelphia are Negroes, and conversely, nearly 1/3 of the Negroes in the city are servants. This makes the Negro a central problem in any careful study of domestic service, and domestic service a large part of the Negro problems. The matter thus is so important that it has been made the subject of a special study appended to this work. A few general considerations only will be advanced here. So long as entrance into domestic service involves the loss of all social standings and consideration, so long will domestic service be a social problem. The problem may vary in character with different countries and times, but there will always be some maladjustments in social relations when any considerable part of a population is required to get its support in a manner which the other part despises, or affects to despise. In the United States, the problem is complicated by the fact that for years domestic service was performed by slaves, and afterward, up till today, largely by black freedmen, thus adding its despised race to a despised calling. Even when white servants increased in number, they were composed of white foreigners, with but a small proportion of Native Americans. Thus, by long experience, the United States has come to associate domestic service with some inferiority in race or training. The effect of this attitude on the character of the service rendered, and the relation of mistress and maid, has been only too evident, and has in late years engaged in the attention of some students and many reformers. These have pointed out how necessary and worthy a work the domestic performs, or could perform, if properly trained. That the health, happiness, and efficiency of thousands of homes, which are training the future leaders of the Republic, depend largely on their domestic service. This is true, and yet the remedy for present ills is not clear until we recognize how far removed the present commercial method of hiring a servant and market is from that which obtained at the time when the daughters of the family or of the neighbor's family helped in the housework. In other words, the industrial revolution of the country has affected domestic service along with other sources of labor by separating employer and employed into distinct classes. With the Negro, the effect of this was not apparent so long as slavery lasted. The house servant remained an integral part of the master's family with rights and duties. When emancipation broke, this relation there went forth to hire a number of trained black servants who were welcomed south and north. They liked their work. They knew no other kind. They understood it, and they made ideal servants. In Philadelphia, 20 or 30 years ago, there were plenty of this class of Negro servants, and a few are still left. A generation has, however, greatly altered to the face of affairs. There were in the city in 1890 42,795 servants, and of these, 10,235 were Negroes. Who are these Negroes? No longer members of Virginia households trained for domestic work, but principally young people who were using domestic service as a stepping stone to something else, who worked as servants simply because they could get nothing else to do, who had received no training or service because they never expected to make it their life calling. They, in common with their white fellow citizens, despised domestic service as a relic of slavery, and they longed to get their work as their fathers had.
My bad. I got to stop it real quick. He said they as long as who? Who was mad? Somebody tell me who he said was mad. Let me see who was listening. Who was mad?
The white folks that had to work those jobs with them.
And who else was mad? Who was they working with? Who were they working with? They was working with the slaves. They were working with the slave. When I say it's class, all white people didn't eat at the same table as the rich white people, bro. All white people didn't own slaves. Like, and I don't want you to get me wrong, to think like I don't think there's racism. Like, there's nobody here blacker than me. There's nobody here that went through being called tar baby. I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody here, African booty scratcher, all of that stuff, that knows like having a dark skin, know what comes with having a dark skin, colorism. I understand all of that.
I was called tar baby.
But you don't even look like a tar baby. You got that. You got that nice brown skin. Like, what's going on? I mean, but I know all of this. I know racism exists. I know sexism exists. I know patriarchy is here. All of those are social stratifications to divide us. Why they continue to run away with
no excuse for anybody to be a racist piece of shit, but you got to understand where it comes from. Nobody wants to feel like they're on the bottom. And so you trick a bunch of the people who are on the bottom into thinking there's somebody beneath them. It makes them feel empowered when you don't actually have to give them nothing. And then they help to keep their brothers down, right? So it's not an excuse, but you got to know where it comes from, right? And understand it's like they're perpetrating it, but it's coming from the top.
All power to the people. Nah, truthfully. And this is so deep. This is why reading is beautiful, yo. When you start to read, like, it expands your mind and gets you thinking. I want to just keep playing the audio, but he's talking about stuff here that we really need to discuss and understand. Let me play it again. Let me try to see if I can go through it again without stopping.
Long to be free. In getting other work, however, they were not successful, partly on account of lack of ability, partly on account of the strong race prejudice against them. Consequently, today the ranks of Negro servants, and that means largely the ranks of domestic service in general Philadelphia, have received all those whom harsh competition of a great city has pushed down, all whom a relentless color prescription has turned back from other chosen vocations, half-trained teachers and poorly equipped students who have not succeeded, carpenters and masons who may not work at their trades, girls with common school training, eager for the hard work but respectable standing of shop girls or factory hands, and proscribed by their color. In fact, all those young people who, by natural evolution in the case of the whites, would have stepped a grade higher than their fathers and mothers in the social scale, as in the case of the postbellum generation of Negroes, been largely forced back into the great mass of listless and incompetent to earn bread and butter by menial service. And they resent it. They are often discontented and bitter, easily offended and without interest in their work. Their attitude and complaint increases. The discontent of their fellows who have little ability and probably could not rise in the world if they might. Above all, both the disappointed and the incompetents are alike ignorant of domestic service in nearly all its branches, and in this respect are a great contrast to the older set of Negro servants. Under such circumstances, the first far-sighted movement would have been to open such avenues of work and employment to young Negroes that only those best fitted for domestic work would enter service. Of course, this is difficult to do even for the whites, and yet it is still the boast of America that, within certain limits, talent can choose the best calling for its exercise. Not so with Negro youth. On the contrary, the field of exercising their talent and ambition is, broadly speaking, confined to the dining room, kitchen, and street. If now competition had drained all the talented and inspiring into other avenues and eased the competition in this one vocation, then there would have been room for a second movement, namely for training schools which would fit the mass of Negro and white domestic service for their complicated and important duties. Such a twin movement, diversification of Negro industry and serious training of domestic service, would do two things. It would take the ban from the calling of domestic service by seeming to make Negro and servant synonymous terms. This would make it possible for both whites and blacks to enter more freely into the service without a fatal and disheartening loss of self-respect. Secondly, it would furnish trained servants, a sad necessity today, as any housekeeper can testify. Such a movement did not, however, take place, but, on the contrary, another movement. English trained servants, the more docile Swedes, and better paid white servants were brought in to displace Negro servants. One has but to notice the coachmen on the driveways, or the butlers on Rittenhouse Square, or the nursemaids in Fairmount Park, to see how largely white servants have displaced Negroes. How has this displacement been brought about? First, by getting better trained and more willing servants. Secondly, by paying servants higher wages. The Swedish and American servants, in most cases, know more of domestic service than the postbellum generation of Negroes, and certainly as a class they are far more reconciled to their lot. In the higher branches of domestic service, cooks, butlers, and coachmen, the process has been to substitute a man at $50 to $75 a month for one at $30 to $40. And naturally, again, the result has been gratifying, because a better class of men are attracted by the wages. Thus, the waiters at the new large hotels are not merely white, but better paid, and undoubtedly ought to render better service. In these ways, without doubt, domestic service has in some respects improved in the city by a partial substitution of better trained, better paid, and more contented white servants for poorly trained, discontented, and in the case of waiters, butlers, and coachmen, poorly paid Negroes. Moreover, the substitution has not met with active opposition or economic resistance on the part of the Negroes, because fully one half of those in domestic service would be only too glad to get other work of any kind. What now has been the result of these economic changes? The result has undoubtedly been the increase of crime, pauperism, and idleness among Negroes, because while they are being to some extent displaced as servants, no corresponding opening for employment in other lines has been made. How long can such a process continue? How long can a community pursue such a contradictory economic policy? First, confining a large portion of its population to a pursuit which public opinion persists in looking down upon, then displacing them even there by better trained and better paid competitors. Manifestly, such a course is bound to make that portion of the community a burden on the public, to debauch its women, pauperize its men, and ruin its homes. It makes the one central question of the Seventh Ward not imperative social betterments, raising of the standard of home life, taking advantage of the civilizing institutions of the great city. On the contrary, it makes it a shared question of bread and butter and the maintenance of their standard of living above that of the Virginia plantation. Nor has the whole group failed in every case to answer this question. The foregoing statistics show how slowly and under many discouragements, diversification of employment is taking place among the black population. This, however, is the brighter side and represents the efforts of that determined class among all people that surmount eventually nearly all obstacles. The spirit of the age, however, looks today not to the best and most energetic, but to those on the edge, those who will become effective members of society only when properly encouraged. The great mass of the Negroes naturally belong to this class, and when we turn to the darker side of the picture and study the disease, poverty, and the crime of the Negro population, then we realize that the question of employment for Negroes is the most pressing of the day, and that the starting point is domestic service, which still remains their peculiar province. First, then, as before said, the object of social reform should be so to diversify Negro employment as to afford proper escape from menial employment for the talented few, and so as to allow the mass some choice in their life work. This would be not only for the sake of Negro development, but for the sake of a great human industry, which must continue to suffer as long as the odium of race is added to a disposition to look down upon the employment under any circumstances. The next movement ought to be to train servants, not towards servility and toadying, but in problems of health and hygiene, in proper cleaning and cooking, and in matters of etiquette and good form. To this must be added such a rousing of the public conscience as shall lead people to recognize more keenly than now the responsibility of the family towards its servants, to remember that they are constituent members of the family group, and as such have rights and privileges as well as duties. Today in Philadelphia, the tendency is the other way. Thousands of servants no longer lodge where they work, but are free at night to wander at will, to hire lodgings in suspicious houses, to consort with paramours, and thus to bring moral and physical disease to their place of work. A reform is imperatively needed, and here, as in most of the Negro's problems, a proper reform will benefit white and black alike, the employer as well as the employed.
All power to the people. All right, so let me go real quick. From this chapter, from what you just read, his analysis emphasizes individual behavior over one's achievement. By the way, his analysis emphasizes individual behavior. Or it dictates, like what you call it, once achieved, by the way, and for individual behavior, like our behavior determines the outcome, determines what how we do in life. It's like that's what the voice is saying. The individual. I mean, in one part, that's what he's saying, and then the other part, he also gives credence to the society, the larger society that demands these people work in these jobs. So it's like, you know what that's called? Double consciousness. Like he understands the issue. Like most people here, they know that there's systematic oppression, but they still blame the people on welfare, the people in the streets, for the hell that they're catching. So I don't even know how one can do that. That makes no sense to me at all. And he said it here. He said crime is caused by unemployment, by these people not having money. That's why you have crime. Like all of these things are not new. All these phenomena are not new. And he said, how long can this continue to go on? We're in 2025. They've been doing a good job of keeping this racket going. I mean, so that's, anybody else want to chime in before I go on to what we talk about?
I would.
Go ahead.
Right. So race was not defined before Bacon's Rebellion. The event 1676 served as a major turning point that led legal and social creation of races. It was the poor white people working with the enslaved people, and they was like the elites of wilding. And the indigenous. They like the elites of wilding. So before that, class and economic status were primary social dividers, and many poor white indentured servants and enslaved Africans could work together. After Bacon's Rebellion, they revealed the potential of the unity, and to prevent it, they made all of the race. So if you white, you right, and if you black, you not. If you black, you left out black. And I say this because black itself, if you look up the etymology of it, it means to consume, like a black hole or Black Friday. Consume. We need you to consume. That's why if you ever hear me talking about melanin dominant or melanin abundant, it's we're all human race. And you ask the question, Commissioner, you ask the question like, yo, how long this go on? As long as people want to continue to be like Black Power and Black Pride, and it's going to continue to create this division. And you said that double tongue. That double tongue is cognitive dissonance. We all know we are humans. We all know we bleed purple blood or red blood when it hits the air. But that 1676 changed the fucking game. And Newark was colonized in 1666. So it wasn't too far after they started implementing that black and white spell. And that's all.
17 what? 17 what?
It was 1677, 1676, and it's called Bacon's Rebellion.
No. When was Newark incorporated?
1666.
16...
1863 is when it was incorporated, but the colonizers came in here in 1666. So they were incorporated into the United States government in like 1860-something, that seal that's right behind in the People's Palace. But in 1666 is when the Puritans came here and was like, yo, y'all got land, we want that. Here's $750 and some sugar and some horses. We need that. And our people know that we can't own the land. We thought they was trying to work with the land with us. And when them contracts and agreements, then they gave them the right to run us the fuck off of their land. Those contracts gave them the right to kill our people, and that's what we're still falling under today. We abiding by their laws. And I'm going to land with this. You had said we're a bunch of divided communities. Until we know how to do business to business with these municipals, like going in as community land trusts and community agreements, that's where the power comes in, because like we can't hurt them with guns. Maya Angelou said we can't outgun them. We can't outshoot them right now. We can have the guns for protection, but we got to outcreate them with our creative efforts in writing legislation, our creative efforts in books and movies that is going to stand the test of time. So when people see it, they get to feel the injustice, and it breaks the spell of the cognitive dissonance. Dr. Malachi Z. York called it the Ispet spell of the pale man.
All power to the people.
All power, Chairman. Just to piggyback off what the gentleman said, and I'm gonna just push back a little bit. We don't need their land trust. We don't need to go to them for anything. Anything that people need to do, we can organize and get it ourselves. So, but that's what we're trying to stay away from, because when we go into City Hall talking about we want land, they're not gonna give it to you. They're not gonna give it to you. If you're talking about we want to access Newark City Land Trust and put in an application to get, they're gonna throw your application away.
I'm not saying that, Queen. Respectfully, I got 1.2 acres of land in North Newark that I haven't did what you say. I'm not asking North for it. I have it. It's mine. And we're about to take an apartment that's on this block. And they call it squatting, or they call it whatever. But I did 8 years, 5 years working for SunTrust and Bank of America and title companies. So what I'm saying is that before the Constitution, we had the Iroquois Peace Treaty. That was ours. And it's this bank called the BIS. They're sovereign. They're the central banks of all banks. They above all laws. Once we put our sovereign status as our nation, we're taking care of our people and our own trust. Instead of doing the people that go up to City Hall asking for them to do shit, they're doing business to consumer. I'm talking about doing business to business, and doing business to business. I'm not asking you. I'm presenting you with the trust that I have, and I'm sharing with you this is what's happening. It's called a due process, but I ain't asking that the administration for nothing. They good. I watched them for the past 2 years, and they shucking and jiving. All those land bank places, we take those shits. We go there, we build on them, and then when they come see us, we see them in court, and then we show them all of our inalienable rights to do this, because y'all haven't been taking care of us. I'm not crying to them. We take care of us. We're our savior. So thank you for the pushback, but not that community land trust shit, but the trust in itself, because the councils or the managers, they have a fiduciary duty to take care of the beneficiaries. We are the beneficiaries, and then once we know this, we take care of our own people, and it makes it harder once we are all under like you have a trust and I have a trust and my partner has a trust and Ibrahim has a trust. Now we have 5 different nations. Those trusts are nations, and now they got to deal with nations with our own guidelines, with our own bylaws, and now we got to talk their language. We're talking the same language now versus I'm begging you to help me. Nah, fuck all that.
All power to the people. Hey, while I was listening, I should have Googled what I was trying to look up, but let me play this real quick. So, Donald Trump. We can't ignore the political system that's not even political. We can't even ignore the imperialists, the people that wield all this power over us. And they pass it. Even they're not even following their own constitutions, their own laws. They're not even following none of that. And this video right here is going to be some senators telling you what's already in the UCMJ. The UCMJ is the Military Code of Justice.
Gang. Yeah.
All power to the people. And if you went into the service before you left boot camp, I know for Marines, before you left boot camp, you're handed a binder that's like this big, and it has everything in there, all your rules, all the regulations, everything that you're supposed to do. And inside it, when you open it, there are articles in there that tell you you're not supposed to follow any orders that are not legal. And that if you follow those orders, that when you go to a court-martial, when you go in front of them people and they're court-martialing you like the Germans, when the Germans did whatever to the Jews, whatever they did over there in Germany, the Holocaust, when they went to court and they stood up there and they asked them, like, why did you do this? And all of them said we were following orders. They still hung them. They still killed all those people that was in the military that followed those orders. So these Democrats are coming up here to say that you don't need to follow laws that are not that are not legal. I'm about to play it.
Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris Delizio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander. Representative Chrissy Goulinger.
Congressman Jason Crow. That was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy. Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer. Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens. Like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard, that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you. Need you to stand up for our laws.
the Constitution and who we are as Americans. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
All power to the people. Before I even go on, listen to this real quick. This is from the Black Jacobins. This is a quote from the Black Jacobins. This is the Haitian Revolution, and C.L.R. James wrote the Black Jacobins to explain, to write down, to put down into data everything that happened during that war. And this is a quote from Toussaint Louverture. He knew the French, British, and Spanish imperialists for the insatiable gangsters that they were, that there is no oath too sacred for them to break. No crime, deception, treachery, cruelty, destruction of human life and property, which they would not commit against those who could not defend themselves. Now, this was Toussaint Louverture talking during the Haitian Revolution. They killed Toussaint. At the end of the war, they kidnapped him, took him to France, and they killed him. He never came back to Haiti again. But this is what he said about imperialists, about this government. Like we in America, America's an imperialist government. I don't believe nothing they say. I don't believe. There was a point when I believed in the UCMJ. I believe all these things in that book, in that binder, that if you operated under these guidelines, that you would be good. But after studying for myself, because I learned all this stuff about C.L.R. James, about history, when I was in prison. When I was in prison and I started reading all these books, started learning all of this, started reading this stuff by in the Black Jacobins on how you should look at imperialism and the government. See, today I understand there's no politician anywhere that can say anything that I would accept as true. They're all lying. They're working for institutions of imperialism. Everything that they put in front of us is a cloak to hide what they're really doing. That's why since 1896, when Du Bois wrote the Philadelphia Negro, we are still suffering from the same conditions, despite all the politicians from 1896, 1890, 1920, 1950, 1980, 1990, 2000, until here, nothing has changed. It's only gotten worse. So if you listen to Toussaint, when Toussaint said he knew the French, British, and Spanish imperialists, because that's what we are dealing with, imperialism, for the insatiable gangsters that they were. These people are gangsters. If you accept this, you're not listening to no politician except the name they say. I'm not even listening to these Congress people accepting nothing they say, because I know it's all a lie. And after they say this, I'm about to show you the lie. Why it's a lie right now. Now listen to ABC News.
Real quick before.
Hold up, before you go real quick. I'm about to play ABC News. And listen to ABC News. This is supposed to be the person that leads the country, that leads the military, that never read the UCMJ, know nothing about the UCMJ, understand nothing about war, understand nothing about the military, but this is who they have in position of power. And we about to play the video, and you're going to hear the goofy stuff he say. But go ahead, Megabyte.
I'll disagree with you a little bit on the don't trust nothing they say. Sometimes you gotta trust what they say. Take them at their word, because that whole video, not one time did they mention do your duty to protect the American people. It was we took an oath to protect the Constitution. It wasn't we took an oath to protect the American people and do justice by the American people. It was uphold the Constitution. Who does the Constitution protect?
All power to the people. Yo, yo, you spot on. Hey, yo, but look, I'm a Maoist. I'm a Panther. Hey, yo, as Panthers, we believe in ideological struggle. So you just said you disagree with me. I'm not mad, because guess what? You are right. Sometimes take them as face value for what they say, because they're going to do it. I mean, if they like Trump told the Palestinians, yo, we're going to come over there, we're going to take over the land, and we're going to build hotels over there, and we're going to put a government over there that's going to like decide what's going on over there, that's going to control what's going on over there. Yo, that's what they mean to do. They mean to do colonialism over there. They mean to go over there and take those people's land and do exactly what they said. And they told them, if you don't listen, we're going to kill all of you. That's what Trump told them. If you don't listen, if you don't do what we're saying, if you don't come to the table and do what we're saying, we're going to blow all of you off the face of the earth. Yo, I take them at face value. You're right, Megabyte. Sometimes you got to listen to them. Listen to what they're saying. But when they start telling you that this policy, this is going to change anything for the masses of the people, you know what Megabyte just say? The whole time those people were speaking, they never say nothing about the people. They said the Constitution. What's the Constitution for? To protect wealth for those that have it. That's the only reason why the Constitution is here. The Constitution don't serve the people. But let me play this video.
The White House dialing back President Trump's own words today. The president calling several Democrats in Congress, most of them veterans, traitors in a post, and then in another post saying this is punishable by death, after they put out a video telling servicemen.
Hey, yo, when my mother saw this, my mother called me. Like, they about to get rid of Trump. They about to get rid of Trump. I'm like, man, that man ain't going nowhere. He doing exactly what they want him to do. I mean, as soon as my mother saw this, my mother called my phone. Like, yeah, they're definitely about to get rid of him. Man, he ain't going nowhere.
They can refuse, quote, illegal orders. The White House was asked, in this environment, what is the president suggesting? Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, President Trump criticized by members of both parties after calling 6 Democratic members of Congress, quote, traitors, and accusing them of seditious behavior punishable by death.
Representative.
A human response to video released by the lawmakers, all of whom served in the military or in U.S. intelligence.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
In the video, the lawmakers reminding members of the military they should not obey illegal orders.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
The lawmakers did not specify which orders they were talking about, but the president enraged, posting a flurry of messages on social media saying they should be arrested and put on trial. The words cannot be allowed to stand, adding, an example must be set. The president then writing, seditious behavior punishable by death. And he reposted a message from another.
Hey, somebody Google up seditious behavior. When he finished talking, I want you to tell us what seditious behavior is, if it fits anything he's talking about. Because look at him. He's a complete buffoon. What intellectual society has this sociopath leading them? Or any of the sociopaths before him? Remember Biden? Couldn't even walk up the steps, falling all over the steps. Can't even. You remember the debate with Biden? Hey, yo, I'd be ashamed when I see these people claiming to speak for me, because they're complete buffoons. If you're going to talk for me, you're going to fight for me, you got to be an academic. You got to know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, if you can't hold a complete sentence, I don't want you talking for me. But that's not what it's about. It is not about having intellectuals in these positions of power. It's about having billionaires, millionaires that will all maintain the status quo for those in power.
Her account that said, hang them. George Washington would. Democrats accusing the president of inciting violence.
This puts all of our lives in jeopardy. Right? What are we all doing right now? Democrats in Congress are on the phone with their chiefs of staff, beefing up our security for this weekend and next week because...
And I don't feel sorry for the Democrats. Because the Democrats participate in the same behavior. Democrats are Republicans. They participate in the same behavior. General Secretary, when you do this video, put inside the video of Mayor Rod Baraka sitting in a car, having an interview with a radio station, and he said on that interview, if anybody killed me, nobody would care. He was talking about me. If anybody killed me because I'm challenging him about gentrification. I'm challenging him about people not having jobs out here. I'm challenging him about the police. So he sat in the interview, and they were laughing. They were having a casual conversation. If somebody kills me, nobody will care. Who's going to kill me in the hood? I fight for the people. I fight for the drug dealers, the people that they're abusing, that they're knocking upside their head. Who in the streets is going to say, like, yo, we want to go hurt Africa? If I'm the one providing the after-school program for their kids, if I'm bringing the food to their houses, feeding them when the government refused, the Black Panther Party is out here with crates, boxes of food to give them. When they get kicked out of their house, the Black Panther Party is there to put them right back into that house because they were illegally kicked out. You telling me these people from the streets are going to come hurt me, or is it the politicians? Rod Baraka is just like Trump. All these politicians are just like Trump. They will weaponize this judicial system, the police department, to come after you if you try to hold them accountable. So when I hear them talking like this, I don't feel sorry for them. You deserve this. All of you the same.
The president has a lot of unhinged supporters out there.
Republicans clearly uncomfortable.
The words that the president chose are not the ones that I would use, okay? Obviously, I don't think that these are crimes punishable by death or any of that, okay?
Republican Senator Rand Paul was blunt.
That kind of rhetoric isn't really what stirs up people among us who may not be stable, but they think when illegal traders, then it's a death penalty. Maybe I'll just take matters in my own hands, which is not something we should be encouraging.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked to explain.
Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress? No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to.
Leavitt saying the 6 Democrats are the ones inciting violence.
They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members.
Yeah, what's her name? Let me rewind it back. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary. Before her, it was Jane Pierre. She was black, Haitian, gay. Like, that's what they had up there. You know what they got in common? They're all liars. They all lie for the president. These people are supposed to be working for us. She's a White House press secretary. The White House belongs to the people, to the taxpayers. I'm quite sure we pay her paycheck. But these people don't serve the people. They serve their masters. She worked for Donald Trump and whatever oligarchs control Donald Trump. So she'll stand up there even though he's blatantly wrong. And she would defend him, just like Jane Pierre defended Biden. Who was before Jane Pierre? Was it that Simone? I think it was Simone.
There was no. She wanted the job, but they demoted her to VP Harris, and then Harris got rid of her. It was some white lady
with the red
that had the job before Pierre.
Some Huckabee, right?
No. Biden initially had a white lady, and then she resigned, and the position became open, and that's how Pierre got the job. But Pierre interviewed, because, she's a defect now. She lost her job when Biden lost the election, and Joanne Reed got fired. So they were doing a podcast, Joanne Reed and Pierre. Joanne Reed, it's supposed to be like a homegirl, sister to sister, hey, softball interview. Pierre is so used to, trafficking lives, she couldn't even, have a genuine conversation. She just kept saying, those weren't my thoughts, those weren't my words. It was my job to express the thoughts and the sentiments of the Biden administration. But Joanne Reed kept asking her, what do you think? And she just kept repeating the same thing, like she didn't even have a brain. But I think this messaging by the Democratic Party was extremely reckless, right? Imagine there's a fight that you lost. Maybe you went up against somebody in your community and they beat you down, so you don't want to fight them no more, so you send out your little brothers and your sisters them to go fight. That's what they're doing, right? And what Trump is saying, and I don't think Trump is right either, he's saying, I equate this to treason. And by the Constitution, if you commit treason, you should be killed, right? Remember what they said prior about protecting the Constitution or who the Constitution protects, right? Now when it comes to them, the politicians, they saying, nah, we don't really follow the Constitution when it comes to us, right? Because there's a law for the common people and there's a law for the oligarchs and those who serve the oligarchs. But, like, this whole thing is just a political ploy, right? Nobody's going to kill anybody. That's not the American government that we serve in nowadays. They don't kill people like that. When they want to kill you, they'll hire a hitman, and you'll just miraculously have a heart attack, right? Or a bad car crash.
No. You miraculously get shot in the neck.
Yeah. By an 18-year-old super sniper.
Yo, Ibrahim, I wanted to also, Chairman, sedacious means to excite violence against the state or a monarch, right? That's the sedacious mean. So look, that what they're doing, right? Because they're all actors. This is what was his reality show that he had, The Apprentice. This is the political version of The Apprentice. Everybody's on political theater. That's why Ross is acting like a civil rights leader in this time right now. And what Trump is doing is setting up a siege, an internal siege. But when he say shit like that, right, just like drill rap, right, I'm going to slide on my ops. It's sending the message in the Army. You remember this, Africa. In the Army, shit rolls downhill, right? Yeah. Shit rolls downhill. So keep it simple, stupid. So in that, when they make those statements, they setting up for people that are already programmed to not have money to go out and shoot somebody that look like them because they think they violating the set. Because right now, what we see right now in America, right now in the BRICS and all that, we see two big oligarch families going at it, Bloods and Crips, right? But they're in the oligarch shit. AIPAC is going at it with the other crowns out of the 13 families. So if you know that, you don't get sucked into the machine. Like, the older generation, they were brought up on the news system. So anything they get fed, they get in programs. Shout out to whoever said Rupert Murdoch, because Rupert Murdoch is an Ashkenazi imperialist Jewish that understand propaganda and media. So right now, we just had those murders, right? And earlier this month with a drill. It wasn't just because of the music. It's because of the political temperature of the city. Ross can make a statement like he said about getting you killed, right? And nobody might not kill you, but it's somebody that look like you and sound like you that gonna catch a bullet. So it's like, man, and that type of like loose lip shit, that shit sinks ships. That's why when I first heard him say hold the line, I was like, for who? Why am I holding the line for you? And then he had the nerve to say he a sniper, but he might miss sometimes. Then you don't need to be a sniper, nigga, if you might miss. So, like, nah, he disrespecting our oath. Me and you took an oath. Even if we don't fuck with America right now, we took an oath. And I respect that oath. And this is the thing. I don't agree with everything Trump said, but I know he's the commander-in-chief. So, gang, right? You owe your loyalties to the whoever the boss is, but I'm not gonna disrespect him, but I will call out his fuck shit. And that's like when how y'all had the disagreements just here and now. As humans, we should be able to disagree without having to kill each other or destroy each other.
And like to add to this, why I think it's extremely problematic that the Democrats are saying this. Because they didn't say this when they were in power, right? They didn't say this when they were fighting wars or when they pulled out of Afghanistan all recklessly. They didn't say this when they destabilized Venezuela. They're saying this now that Trump is in power, but they don't have the power to come and save you. If you say, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do the job that I signed up to do, and they say, oh, you're going AWOL, and we're going to put you in this prison, we're going to put you under the prison in this federal prison cell, they're not going to come and save you. You're not going to get Hunter Biden treatment.
Hey, yo, cite some people that they locked up for telling the truth, Ibrahim. Go ahead, give me some names in the last couple of years. We know some people that came out and exposed the government that they locked up.
The most famous one is Snowden, right?
Snowden?
And Snowden is hiding out in Germany, right? And Snowden knows that, he can't come back to America. If he tries to come back to America, they're going to lock him up. But people cite him as a hero. And he actually exposed a lot of the war crimes. They say the Bush administration, but it was just the American government, right? Spying on people through their phones, through their smart TVs, through their, smart appliances, right? And he was letting you know, if they want to deem you a terrorist, you're a terrorist. Not because you committed terrorist activities, but because with these smartphones and these phones, we are all like 2-3 calls away from calling somebody who America deems a terrorist. Not because you know them or anything, but they can connect us because we all interconnected. Another one is, and this has just been recently, I don't know if y'all seen the program. It was a MSNBC program where they had the, what's her name? It's the black lady. But anyways, it's her, and then there's like a white Republican guy up there. And they were talking about Mamdani, and they were talking about a picture that he had took with Imam Siraj Wahhaj from New York City. And they kept calling this man an unindicted co-conspirator of 9/11. And I'm like, what type of stupid wordplay is that? We live in America, right? You innocent to proven guilty. If you never indict me, that means you never charge me. How am I an unindicted co-conspirator? That doesn't even make no sense. Like, it's just word salad. But that's what they do. That's what they label you. And they label you like the brother said before me, so somebody else can say, oh, he had something to do with 9/11, and then try to track this man down and kill him in the street. And then once they kill him in the street, they'll be like, oh, we don't promote violence, even though they send military aid to Israel every other month. Oh, we don't promote violence. No, you said that because you know you're in a position of power for many nutcases to hear it and go and act on it. You gave the hit. If it was a federal indictment on me and I said something that incited violence, and they would come right back to me, they would lock me up. No, you gave the hit. You just didn't give it directly.
During Obama, he locked up the one that he was born male, but then he changed his sex.
I just pulled them up. That's Chelsea Manning, Chairman. We were trying to think of their name before. Born Bradley Manning, and of course, after they.
Reality Winner? Is that Reality Winner?
No. That Reality Winner is another one. But we're naming these people. If you're watching, we're naming these people that came out and they revealed crimes that the government was committing, and these same politicians, the same Congress people, sat there and did nothing while these people's lives were being destroyed. But now Donald Trump is in office. Now they're going to try to bring up the UCMJ, bring up all these laws that they don't respect. Like, these people are sociopaths. The Democrats, the Republicans, both of them are useless. Listening to them will only lead us to hell.
Service members not to defy the chain of command.
I spoke with Congressman Jason Crow, a former Army Ranger who was in that video.
What would your message to the president be? I don't do fear and intimidation well, and I'm not going to stop it.
In that video, Democrats cited what they called threats to the Constitution, insisting that the Trump administration is pitting our military against American citizens, but they did not provide any specific examples. Congressman Crow telling me they felt the need to start a conversation after the president made what he called disturbing statements.
You know why they're not saying nothing concrete? Because they do the same thing. The Democrats
They tried to do it against Assad.
Exactly. No, but the Democrats would throw the National Guards into the streets too. They have them all in our communities, in our neighborhoods. Even though the National Guards is not supposed to be in our communities, they're not supposed to be doing like patrolling like police. They have their own job that they're supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to be in our communities, but Democrats do it too. Obama did. Biden did. So now Trump is doing the same thing that they did. But now they want to stand up, be all almighty. But look, this is somebody that's in the military. Listen to what they say real quick. It's basically what I just said, but they're going to say it more because it's like he's in the military right now, so he well more versed than it. He talk about the the codes and everything. So like, boom, a few seconds.
Specifically, PSA. This is to my active duty service members and to my active duty service members only, especially those pushing this sentiment. I was just following orders will never be an acceptable defense in a court of law, more specifically, a court-martial. There are individuals that are peddling this sentiment that these Marines, these National Guardsmen, that are active duty service members have to follow unlawful orders. No, we do not. If you look at the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Articles 77 through 134 are all of the punitive articles. More specifically, this one would kind of similarly go to 92, and 90, right? Go look at the Uniform Code of Military Justice. When you raise your right hand, you give that oath of enlistment. I state your name. Do solemnly swear and or to affirm to serve and protect the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, not some enemies, all enemies, foreign and domestic, to bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to obey the orders of the President and the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. You do not.
Man, these people buy into the propaganda. This is sickness. This presupposes that America is just, and how they deploy their troops and go about helping other people is injustice.
Ibrahim, no. Now you got to start over because we didn't hear you. You was talking over homeboy. But now, what was you saying just now?
No, I'm saying I'm seeing the sickness in this because this presupposes what the United States is doing is just. So if somebody asks you to do something that's unjust, you can stand down. This is an extreme slippery slope, right? You sign up to do a job. Maybe you didn't know what your job was, but it's to spread imperialism. And that's not you don't do that with like white gloves. You don't handle nobody like a baby. When Bush told people to go over to Iraq and Afghanistan to kill because they had weapons of mass destruction, and they went over there and killed all them people for all them years and tore down. Like if you was to sign up, but then say, "Oh, I'm over here and what they doing is wrong. We haven't seen no weapons of mass destruction." That comes out later. That comes out after nobody can be held accountable. I think Dick Cheney just passed away. Bush is somewhere chilling, about to meet up with Michelle Obama to give her another piece of candy. But, like, while you're in the middle of doing this stuff right now, this is disingenuous, and people is turning something. If you don't want to oppress people, if you don't want to be on the wrong side of justice and truth, then just don't sign up to do those jobs. That's all I can tell you. Because when you sign up to do those jobs, you're going to be held accountable to do those jobs. And now it is okay, you can go over there and kill them people, but you can't rape them people, right? So they justified in killing them. But then if somebody see you raping one of them, then you can get court-martial, right? But this idea that like if you don't want to do something wrong, you don't have to do the wrong thing. It's all wrong. And that's what you are part of the whole oppressive regime. I'm sorry to tell you, because you killed them and didn't rape them don't make you a better person. You just as bad.
All power to the people. Hey, there's no war that they've had in America for the last 50, 60, 80, 100, 200 years. There's no war that they've had here that's been legal. None of their wars are legal. Every single war with all those military people, everybody fighting them, bombing, killing people, burning them, throwing napalm on people. All these military people were there. You see, when I say cloak, like they put all this stuff on paper. It sounds beautiful, poetic. It's all brainwashing material. Because they don't believe in this stuff. The government, these imperialists, don't believe in nothing they write. It's only there to convince us, to make us think that these rules are here to safeguard us. But all of this is a lie. I told you what Toussaint said. You can't trust these people. These people are sociopaths. Everything that they say is a lie. So you see this brother right here, he's in the military, and he's reading the UCMJ, and he really I can't say he believe it, because he knows deep down, you may be free to say what you want, but there are consequences to it. So you sitting there, you're in Iraq, and you talking to CNN, MSNBC, and you like, man, they got me down here. There's no weapons of mass destruction here. They're going to court-martial you. You're going to jail. Ain't no $200. You ain't collecting nothing. You're going straight to jail for challenging authority. And then you may be in that jail for 10, 15, 20 years, and then they finally let you out. Your life is gone. You don't lost your family. You lost everything. All of this is a lie. But what he is saying, the stuff he's saying out of his mouth is inside the UCMJ. The books that they have that's supposed to guide everything. The laws that we're supposed to follow. They don't follow these laws. The laws don't pertain to them. Last week we was talking about Tish James. We was talking about Comey. We was talking about all these people that Trump supposed to put charges on. They're supposed to be going to jail. And they're guilty. whatever her name is, James, Tisha, Tasha, whatever her name is from New York, she's guilty. They call her for fraud, for housing fraud. But you know what they said? They said she made a mistake. Her banker, whoever's supposed to be handling the paperwork, made a mistake. If you go to court, they catch they got you in there for drugs, they got you for whatever, stealing a car, whatever. Like, I didn't know this car was stolen. But I don't want to hear that. Ignorance is not you can't use ignorance in court. They don't care. You going to jail. You see, but those are the rules that pertain to us. But
ignorance is no excuse of the law. That's what they're going to tell you.
That's what they're going to tell you. But Tish James could get off, Comey could get off. They found all these little loopholes for them to get off. This class is not held accountable. You could have 30-something felonies and still be the president and still sit in the White House like nothing happened. You're not going to jail. Matter of fact, presidents don't.
But Chairman, you can't even work for McDonald's.
You can't. When I came home from prison, I went to KFC to get a job. I had already graduated with an associate's degree. I went back to college because I'm like, according to these people, they said if you go back to college, if you do this, do that, you can do the after-school program, you working with children, you're going to be able to, survive. You're going to be able to get a good job in the society. They're going to forget your mistakes. I went to KFC. KFC told me, you're overqualified. And then the manager for KFC pulled me over, was like, I need you to erase that you was in jail. Don't put that in there. He's like, we're not even going to do no record check. But erase that you was in jail. You see, but at this point, I was already in school. I was studying sociology. And my life was a test case for what's going on to other people in the community. So I said, nah, I'm not. I'm going to leave it there. I'm like, take the application. He took the application. I never got a call back. Most people with felonies, you're not getting a call back. Even though the system says after you serve your time, it's a wrap. All of it is a facade. It's fake. It's a cloak that they've poured in front of our eyes to have us thinking that this system can be reformed. We can do anything to change anything, which is all a lie.
So equity jurisprudence, right?
Yeah.
That deals with the private side and the private sector, which Trump is under, and all the elites, right? They control all of their state documents. Their birth certificate, their social, right? Because the first contract you put your child in is that footprint and handprint on the birth certificate. That birth certificate and social are ledgers that they make money off of. We're not connected to the gold standard. And the public side, right? The public side serves the crown. You're a subject. You're a subject to. That's why you got to go to court to get a divorce. That's why you got to go to court when your child support ain't being paid, right? Because they take away your inalienable rights and they give you civil citizens or civil rights. So Trump, right? He's the perfect fall guy for America and all their fuck shit. Because when shit hits the fan, right? When it does, because this is the thing, they can't do business as usual because Spirit said so. We on this call right now, everybody is lining up like the last scene of Avatar. We all coming together, meeting up at the tree, and telling these motherfuckers, get the fuck off our land. Y'all don't care about this.
Listen, you good, but try to watch the profanity, though.
My bad.
No, you good, my boy, but go ahead.
But, come together and get off our land, bro. Our trees. The first inalienable right, is the right to breathe. George Floyd, I can't breathe. That's why they started pushing and promoting, you can't breathe. So once they started taking your inalienable rights and no one educates us on private or public sector, it creates, no matter how hard you fight, you could fight for the 20 years, 30 years, as long as you still want to be a citizen under their system. And just like the, what's the queen that spoke up in regards to getting under the land trust? Your secretary.
Different secretary, yeah, patient.
Yeah, so, as long as you still trying to go to this Thanksgiving, my cousin, right, she's sipping this juice from the establishment. She said the administration is like our parents. So I said, Ross is your daddy, huh? And she said, nah, but you just called them your parents. So he's your daddy. So as long as they're looking for your daddy and your mommy to come save you, and we don't set up our own things where if the grocery store is closed, we got connections to Africa to get food shipped in. As long as you don't start doing that, we're always going to have a lot of mouth service. And between now and 2027, all the mouth service is gone. It's gone, bro.
You're right. You're right. Hey, yo, this is the video from CNN. They're going to describe what happened to these 2 National Guard members in D.C. Yo, listen to them, and then just listen.
Members. We've now learned the names of the 2 West Virginia National Guard members who were shot at point-blank range just blocks from the White House. The Justice Department identifying them as 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf. We understand they've undergone surgery and remain in critical condition.
We're also learning new details about the suspect. Authorities say the 29-year-old Afghan national traveled across the country from Washington State to the nation's capital before the attack. We'll have the latest on the investigation in a moment. First, I'm going to get to CNN's Brian Todd, who's live at the shooting scene. And Brian, you're learning more about how this attack played out.
That's right, Omar and Boris. We have important new information this afternoon on how the attack played out. We're going to get to what Janine Pirro said about that in just a second. But first, we have access here that we have not had before to the actual spot where the shooting occurred. I'm standing at the spot right now. And if you come over here with me, our photojournalist Jay McMichael and I are going to walk you over here. This area here, excuse me, ma'am. This is the bus shelter where, according to officials, at least one of the guardsmen tried to take cover at, and you can see that a plexiglass panel here has been shot out. You can see the fragmented glass up there. This panel is gone, and I'm going to walk you over here to this planter. It appears here that there is a bullet hole here that entered here and exited here of this planter. There's another planter over here. Jay's going to shoot you a close-up of that. And there's another planter here where this part has been removed. I'm going to walk you over here to show you that part of the planter that was removed. And in the meantime, you see a makeshift memorial here to the victims, people laying flowers and an American flag. Over here is a part of that panel that was actually removed. And you can see additional bullet holes here. One here, one here.
So can anybody tell me what's wrong with this right here?
Like, shouldn't that be in evidence? Like, why is that still out there in the street? Like, is that not evidence?
Hey, yo, let me.
But also, he's not giving us the angle that we need, and his cameraman gets paid probably about $100,000 a year. So why are you giving us a side angle when you should be giving us a front angle? But yeah, it should be in evidence.
Yeah, but let's keep listening. Keep listening.
And this looks like some evidence that was handled by authorities as they started to process the scene last evening. So in addition to that, we have new information from Janine Pirro. She is the U.S. Attorney General for the District of Columbia. Earlier today, she spoke to us about the sequence of gunshots. Take a listen.
A lone gunman opened fire without provocation, ambush style, armed with a .357 Smith & Wesson revolver. One guardsman is struck, goes down, and then the shooter leans over and strikes the guardsman again. Another guardsman is struck several times.
And both of those guardsmen are now in critical condition at a local hospital. We have made inquiries with the hospital to learn more about the surgeries and about where they're being treated. The hospital's not gotten back to us on that. As Boris...
Hold up.
Sarah Beckstrom, 20 years old.
Yo, what's up?
Peace and blessings.
Power to the people, Mutar.
So we got a .357.
Mm-hmm.
A handgun.
Yeah.
All right, which is a revolver.
Mm-hmm.
It only holds a certain amount of bullets.
Mm-hmm.
We just heard them say they hit dude twice.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the other person several times.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that, we hear that it's a bullet hole here. It's a bullet hole here. It's a bullet hole here.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck is all these bullets coming from? Was it a shootout? Or did...
Hey, let me finish. Hey, hold that. Let me finish the video first, bro. Yo, write that down. Hold that. Yo, let me keep going, bro. Nah, cause like, yo, we can't believe nothing these people say, yo. Like even that, like Ibrahim was saying, look at the angle the cameraman is holding. Yo, let's think about the angle that the journalist is coming from. He's telling this story from. I'm going to keep playing it.
Andrew Wolf, 24 years old. Those are the 2 Guard members who were struck yesterday in this attack. Beckstrom has been in the Guard since 2023, according to officials. Andrew Wolf has been in the Guard since 2019. According to officials for the news conference, were sworn in yesterday. We believe that meant that they were sworn in not as new Guard members, but sworn in as deputies for the U.S. Marshals, which they have to do about every month. Guys, back to you.
I'm Brian Todd, live for us in Washington, D.C. We hope to learn a positive update on those Guard members at some point soon. CNN senior national security reporter Zach Cohen joins us now. Zach, take us through what we've learned about the suspect.
Yeah, we're learning quite a lot about his background. It's a 29-year-old Afghan national who came to the United States in 2021 as part of this program that was implemented by the Biden administration after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Now, it seems that why he was allowed to come because of his work with the U.S. military and CIA. He was, our understanding, he served in an elite counterterrorism unit that worked directly with U.S. intelligence and military units in Afghanistan, including active combat against Taliban forces at the time. And so there were thousands of those individuals who served in those roles that were evacuated when the Taliban started to rise to power after the U.S. left. And it appears that was the basis for his immigration into the United States. Now, of course, several layers of vetting and took place after he got here. He was only temporarily allowed to come here at first, but his background with the CIA and the intelligence community does seem to be the basis for his travel to the U.S.
So what was that vetting process actually like? Because obviously there were a lot of Afghans that were coming over as part of that Operation Ally as well.
Yeah, by all accounts, it should have been very extensive. We know that in that initial process, he would have been vetted by the U.S. government, including the CIA. And then once he was granted temporary asylum, as he applied for permanent status, he would have gone through a variety of different layers of vetting. Those include identity and background checks, biometric vetting, in-person interviews, assessments of an individual risk, and eligibility under U.S. law. So that's several layers. And then it's important to remember, too, the ultimate approval and of his asylum application was granted under the Trump administration in 2025.
Important in the context of the president and allies saying that this was the policy of the previous administration to let folks in without vetting. Important to keep that in mind. Zach Cohen, thank you so much. Let's get some perspective now with Donnell Harvin. He is the former head of Homeland Security and Intelligence for Washington, D.C., also a member of the faculty at Georgetown University's Emergency Division.
I don't think they say any more extra stuff on here that's real pertinent. But look at the angle that they're talking about, and then let me get it. Listen to this. Listen. Oh, this is her boyfriend. This is the Sarah. This is the one that died. The National Guard that died. This was her boyfriend. Let me play. Let's listen to him real quick.
Can't wrap my head around it at all. Seeing her picture everywhere, just hearing the whole that she's gone, kind of unbelievable.
Adam Carr tells me he dated Sarah Beckstrom for nearly 6 years. They split just a month ago. The 20-year-old U.S. Army specialist, one of 2 National Guard members.
They're not even with each other no more.
Yeah, they're not with each other, but there's some stuff that he said. Yeah, but I ain't even going to say that. I don't want to steal his thunder.
In 2023, and had been deployed in D.C. since August. Did she believe in the mission of being there? Did she think it was important, or did she think they didn't belong there, the West Virginia National Guard?
It was mixed. She got deputized in there, and they gave them no rights to do anything. She was like, people spit towards us, cuss at us, throw things at us, and we can't do nothing. She couldn't detain nobody. She couldn't stop them from doing wrong. It was like they told them to call the cops. She wanted to make the difference. She wanted to extremely. She was happy with it. And she just was also like, why am I here if I can't do nothing? Where they limited them so much, she's like, it's pointless. She's like, I get why we're here. Crime's bad, but it's pointless if we can't do anything. And the more she was there, the more she warmed up to it. She actually volunteered for a longer time. She definitely knows she was making a difference for the right cause. And she's one of the biggest hearted people out there.
She one of the biggest hearted people out there, but you're not with her no more. And, like she was with the oppression of the people in Army DC.
No, but she wasn't with it, but she put more time in. She volunteered more time.
No, he said she was with it.
That's that's what I meant. But she
she volunteered more time. She wanted to come back and stay there. She wanted to serve the president, serve her country. She believed she was there to get rid of crime. She wasn't an ally of the people. She wasn't there to protect the people. Yo, guess what? The judge said her being there, the military being in D.C., a judge said that was illegal, I think last week or the week before that, said that the military being there, that Trump using those people there was illegal. And she was upset because she was deputized, but they couldn't do nothing. All they could do was just stand there as props. And she said people were spitting at them, throwing stuff at them. If you spit at these people, they will shoot you. If you throw stuff at them, they will shoot you. She was a liar. She was there.
I want to point out, I had heard about this interview that the boyfriend gave, but the spin I heard was just the fact that she didn't know why she was there. And it gave a very different perspective. Hearing the full statement he makes, hearing him say she believed in it, right, and she wanted to stay longer, volunteered to stay longer, that's a very different spin than what I saw in the media that only mentioned the part that she didn't know why she was there. So it's crazy that the same interview gets used and spun both ways.
Both ways. But it's deep though. She was there for crime. So what did she consider crime? Yo, there's gentrification over there in DC. Yo, there's housing issues, there's economic issues. The real crime is committed by these corporations. These people, the same people that Du Bois was talking about that controlled the society back then, that limited the jobs that people could have. These people are the real criminals. But what was she there for? Who did she want to arrest? She wanted to arrest the poor people, the people that was on the streets maybe selling drugs, the gang members. These are the people that they consider as criminals. She don't consider Trump a criminal or war criminal, Biden, Obama. She don't consider none of these people war criminals. They don't consider them criminals that they need to go arrest. They need to go arrest people that's outside selling weed, nickel bags, dime bags. Yo,
But she was mad she couldn't do that though.
She was mad about that.
She was mad you can't. You over there making free money because you're not doing no work, but you mad you can't arrest poor people. That's wow.
Yo, disgusting.
It's not about the money. She signed up. She wanted to extend her time and volunteer. She probably had a hell of a night when she found out she was gonna go to Washington D.C. By looking at her ex-boyfriend, I doubt if they're from an urban community. I doubt if they have interaction with diversity, right? So she was like, man, I'm going to get to go to D.C. and police these black and brown people and tear them up. When I first heard this, like, I hate to put my tinfoil hat on, but it reminds me, there's a movie, it's called The Manchurian Candidate, right?
Yeah.
Where they did some experiment on these people, and when they need to activate them, they activate them. This whole story don't make no sense that this Afghanistan, if y'all can recall when the Afghanistans came over here, they outnumbered the Taliban. They had the weaponry and everything. They were so scared to fight them that they fled to America. Some even held on to the plane and went up like 30,000 feet in the air and fell off. Like, these people was rushing to get here, right? They wanted to be here. The fact that this Afghanistan would travel from Washington State halfway across, that's not even all the way across America, and end up in Washington, D.C., because there's National Guard up in Seattle, Washington right now. Like, you could have just shot them there. But he would travel.
Go ahead.
All the way across America, right? And shoot these two people. It just don't make no sense. And this comes right at the time where Trump, like, not only do you shoot two National Guards, but you shot two National Guards that was in Washington, D.C. that was helping ICE. So now he get to remove this protective status, because a lot of them got it's called I forgot the status, the refugee status. I don't know why. I was just thinking of it, but they got that status. So now Trump gets to remove that status and pretty much expel all of them from America. Like, you telling me this is just a coincidence that one Afghanistan who had this status goes all the way to D.C., shoots two National Guards, and now Trump is going to use it to expel these people from America? Like, it's just hard for me to believe this is how that happened.
Yeah, but check this out, though.
And this was a Biden policy. So now he gets to overdo the last Biden policy that was enacted by the Biden administration, right? It just fits well into this, like, news media blitz, and to me, it, like, okay, if that's what you say, it makes as much sense as the white kid who shot Charlie Kirk from, like,
exactly
halfway across and then did this odd text message to his transgender lover, right? And texted everything like he was writing out an essay. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
Hey, yo, but check this out, though. Yo, the CIA recruited this Afghan national when he was 15. The CIA used him to kill his own people in Afghanistan before they brought him here. And even after they brought him here, like Trump and Trump administration, the people that work under Trump, they were all on the media saying Biden brought him here. But earlier this year, Trump, what Trump, a General Secretary, what Trump gave him?
They approved his asylum status.
Trump approved his asylum. So they went through their paperwork, they did paperwork, and they approved him to be here. Remember, he worked for the CIA since he was 15. Yo, he's 29 now. He worked for them killing his own people in Afghanistan. And then they flew him over here, a CIA asset. I mean, but it's like we jump in the gun. Now, remember she told her boyfriend that the people was coming out there, they spitting on them, they cursing at them. Yo, the people have the right to say whatever they want to these pigs, to the military. Yo, that's under the UCMJ. Go read that too. Go read your Constitution. The people can say what they want to say. They just can't use physical harm. You can't spit on people. You can't throw stuff at them. But you can say whatever you want. And the person that you hear in the video, in this next couple of video, he was an ex military. I mean, so I'm gonna play the video.
Okay, sir. Sir, do you have any reason why you haven't refused these illegal orders and taken a knee like Captain Dylan Blaha did? He set the precedent, sir. If you go ahead and do that now, you will be a hero of the Republic. You will be part of something greater than yourself. Now you're walking with shame, standing with your hands in your vest, looking like a shitbag, sir.
Yo, you heard what he said? You're walking with shame. You're standing there with your hand in your vest. If you're in the military, you understand you're never supposed to have your hand in your pockets like that. And then he used a military term. You're looking like a shitbag. Yo, and want the reaction from him because he understood. He triggered him. He understood what he was saying. But he didn't care because he's an officer. He's not even enlisted. He's an officer. That means he got a college degree. I mean, he's at the top of the food chain. But listen to what he's saying to him.
Yes, looking like a shitbag, sir. Remember the oath you swore, sir. Please go and refuse these illegal orders. Someone needs to do it. Someone needs to lead these people in defense of the Republic, sir. Please be the one to do that. Sacrifice your comfort for the good of the Republic. Please, sir.
You see the black guy right there? It's not only white people. I mean, it's black people that's helping maintain this system too. It's not one individual. Hey, yo, let me put a little pin in this real quick. Hey, Muta, you still there? Yo, my bad. I was supposed to go back to you. You still there, Muta?
Yes, sir. I'm still here, brother.
Yo, you ain't even cut in on nothing, man. Like, yo, come on, bro. Like, what
I'm learning, brother.
You were saying something. You were saying something. Did you get it out?
Yeah. It was in reference to it was the storyline, right? We got the bullet stuff here, but right, a 357 only holds a certain amount of bullets. So every bullet must have hit something, but they said the bullet hit flesh. We know, like, it just was too much for me. I don't know.
No, you were 100% correct. A revolver. Yo, I wonder if they even have bullets in there. I think they do they even have any weapons? Do they have M16s with them? I don't even know if they let them carry their rifle. But like, how you let somebody with a revolver pop both of y'all? Take both of y'all down. Did they return any fire? But be that as it may, that's a different story.
Fuck the occupiers. Leave D.C. Free D.C. Fuck the occupiers. Leave D.C.
Yo, all of this is legal. You can say this to the military people. I mean, and what they're doing is illegal. They're not supposed to be in these communities standing there because they're just there to scare people. They're just there as props. This is not what they're supposed to be doing. And what that military person is saying to them is true. Like, this is illegal what they're doing. But do you see anybody here standing up as a conscientious objector? Yo, these people are trying to pay their bills, pay their rent, pay their college whatever, tuition. They don't care about nobody else. This black guy standing right here, it's not standing up for no black person. Yo, you could have a black person getting boot stamped. Yo, they could be hanging a black person right here. This Negro right here will do nothing. Will do absolutely nothing because they are afraid of getting their jobs taken away, of getting locked up. They don't care about nobody but themselves. And they cloak themselves with all this UCMJ, with all this rhetoric. Yo, they know deep down none of that thing mean anything.
Stand up for your oath.
They ain't standing up for nothing. They go another one. They're not standing up for nothing.
Teenagers over here. Okay, do you have anything to say to National Guard soldiers who may be deployed in the future?
Yeah, just remember your oath and remember what you signed up for. And for most of you, I believe it was not this. You know, it was to protect the American people. It was to pay for your college. or to do a public service, but it wasn't to go against your community. So remember your oath.
I'm very over that our leadership hasn't spoken out against the sexual harassment protections that we've lost, the African American equal opportunity protections we had and we lost, and all of our trans soldiers that got kicked out. And so this is just like, I'm done.
The other National Guard or any soldiers that might be deployed in the future?
Yeah, remember your oath, because this is not what we are supposed to do. Read a book about Germany in 1930, 1940s. This is not okay.
Look at this guy. He's going to get separated by head dad. A staff sergeant who's too much of a bitch to take a knee like Captain Dylan Blaha. If you refuse these orders, you will be a hero, staff sergeant. You will be a goddamn hero. Grow a fucking spine and go do something. Remember your fucking oath, staff sergeant. Do the right...
So why am I playing these videos? Because I need you to understand that everything is a farce that this government is telling us. Yo, they're not here to represent us. America is not a democracy. Oh, you know what? Where am I at? I'm right here. Wait, let's go here. No, because, like, you hear Africa saying it. It might just be Africa talking. Yo, this is Chris Hedges. He used to work for the New York Times. He's a journalist, been doing this work for 4... Listen to what Chris Hedges...
American democracy under threat because of this stuff.
Under threat? Does it exist? Huh?
That's Mark Lamont Hill. He's supposed to be this damn genius. They got him on this podcast. He's supposed to be the intellectual one teaching everybody. Listen to the stupid question he asked them. Yo, we know here there's no democracy. He been to all these schools. He teaching in college. Been to all this Ivy League school. He the black this, the black that. Boy, you don't know America's not a democracy? And look at his face like he's shocked when he hear the answer.
That's why the nigga belong on Joe Budden podcast.
Yo, bro, but listen to this, y'all.
Democracy under threat because of this stuff.
Under threat? Does it exist? Huh? I don't think it exists. It's a veneer. It's the end of the Roman Empire. You have the symbols, the iconography, and the language of a democracy, but internally, corporations and oligarchs have seized all the levers of power.
You have the language, the facade. It's a facade like there's a democracy here. All the language, but there's no democracy. Nobody's free here. Your vote don't mean anything. Your voice don't mean anything. Nothing you, I, or any of us say will stop them from bombing Palestinians. Will stop them from bombing Africa. Will stop them from kicking people out, throwing people into the streets. So if you're in your mind, if you think I'm going to reform this system, you're delusional. The only thing you can do from this system is separate and create your own system. You can vote whoever you want to vote in. You want to vote in AOC? You know what AOC going to tell you? Yo, vote me in. We're going to get some radical people like me in. We're going to do, what they call their group? The squad. We're going to get the squad, and we're going to go in there. We're going to remove all these corporate Democrats. And then when you turn around, AOC is like, we can get rid of Hakeem Jeffries. We need to keep Hakeem Jeffries. She's siding with Nancy Pelosi. All these supposed to be radicals. Bernie Sanders. Yo, you know what? They cheated me out the election. But go ahead. Go vote for Hillary Clinton. You know what? They cheated me out the election. But Joe, my man, go vote for Joe. I know Joe. He's a fine person. Go vote for all these war criminals. He supported Kamala Harris too. But they're going to tell you Bernie Sanders is radical. Let's go support Bernie Sanders. Yo, politicians like Bernie Sanders and AOC, they're called sheepdogs. That is the political term that is used to describe those people. They herd people in. They herd like the people that are fighting that want to change. They make them believe that the system can be reformed. And then they herd them into the system. And then when those people go into the system, they see that it was all a lie. They throw their hands up and they give up on the system because they know. Or they give up on the struggle because they see it as futile. Instead of understanding, if you never went with them, if you stayed over here and you organized to feed the community, to educate the community, you have 1,000 or 2,000 million% chance of liberating yourself than ever voting for any candidate. Let me let Chris Hedges finish schooling Mark Lamont Hill. That's supposed to be so intellectual. Democracy.
I looked at this election as a battle between corporatists and oligarchs. Corporatists, the Democrats, they want something very different from oligarchs. Corporatists want stability. They want decorum, the kind of decorum that Obama had or Bush had, or Bush was an idiot, but at least he had some, they could clean him up a little bit. And Biden, whatever his cognitive failings were,
because they want stability, especially in terms of trade agreements, because they make investments overseas. It takes a while for a return on a profit. Corporatists want something different from oligarchs. Oligarchs are about chaos. They're about, as Steve Bannon said, deconstructing the administrative state. Why? Because it is a pure form of rentier capitalism. And by that I mean that they make their money by setting up toll booths, Amazon, all of these digital media platforms. It's not about producing goods. And the more that the state is deconstructed, that's why they want to abolish the Department of Education. Everything that we need as a civil society becomes privatized. And you see it in...
You see the limitations? You always have to listen to the limitations of these people. While I'm putting Chris Hedges up here and he's telling the truth about there's no democracy here, what are you talking about the Department of Education for? All these institutions are controlled by imperialists. The Department of Education is controlled by imperialists. Whether it stays, whether it goes, it changes nothing in our communities. We've had the Department of Education since before I was born. What has it? What?
His income, the Department of Education is what funds him.
Yeah, that's where he get his bread from.
That's his class. Again, he's speaking to his class.
Yeah, I mean, but like he can spew all of this, but he's not a sociologist, so I'm gonna let him slide with that. Because when you're talking about this system that we are in, it's not a democracy. That means every single system in this society, institution in this society, it's not democratic. And if it's not democratic, then it must be imperialist. And if it's imperialist, you can look to that system to serve the people, because it's there to exploit the people. So we have all these garbage schools in our community that don't teach you how to take power. All these schools teach you is for you to be a worker, to be a slave to these corporations and these oligarchs. And he's a teacher. So there's a limitation to how he see it or his perception of everything. Because at some point, he's compromised. It is what it is. I would say that to his face, even though I respect him. I looked at my mentor, and I told him he was a bootlicking Uncle Tom. Because he worked for the university. Bro, you work for the university. You get a government paycheck. Just because you was my mentor and you guided me for me to learn what I learned, that doesn't mean you're not an Uncle Tom, bro. You a sellout. Your check said United States government. You think they're paying you all that money for you to do anything for the people? You must be out your mind.
Real quick before you go, we were talking earlier the consequences for the folks in the military speaking up, and I wanted to bring up, I think it ties into this, a functional arm of a democracy is a free press. Mm-hmm. And tied into the Snowden type stuff and Chelsea Manning, we had one Daphne Caruana Galizia was a journalist who was involved in the releasing of the Panama Papers, which wasn't uniquely American, but it highlighted the tax evasion and wealth hoarding of the elite and offshore bank accounts, right? This is back in like 2016, 17, I want to say. And one of the only practical things that came of that was this journalist died from an assassination and a car bombing outside of their own home. They reported this stuff. Okay, so when we have the real reporting of the stuff that is going on that is subverting our democracies, the results, the consequences are those people are silenced, including through assassination. Right, so we don't even have a free functional press that is able to safely report on these issues and receive protection. They get murdered for reporting on the news.
Nah, you 100% remember we talked about Gary Webb last week. Hey, yo, bro, let me find out you got some money, Megabyte. That look like a Van Gogh behind you, bro. Let me hold some money, man. That painting behind you, that like a Van Gogh. But, like, we got 15 minutes left. So let me try to hurry up and get through this real quick, because this is important to listen to right here. So listen to this right here. Like, this should blow your mind if you haven't heard this already.
It happens to be Thanksgiving.
On the eve of a national holiday, we begin with a national tragedy.
We saw this.
Of the West Virginia.
You saw this already, so I'm going to skip it because she's saying the stuff we already know. But let me get to him real quick. There we go.
Afghan national named Ramanullah Lakhanwal has been identified as the suspected shooter in the ambush attack that killed one National Guard member and wounded another just blocks away from the White House on Wednesday, says the Department of Homeland Security. According to Jeff Carroll, the executive assistant chief of the D.C. Metro Police Department, the suspect was subdued at the scene of the shooting and taken into custody by National Guard members and law enforcement officers. Interestingly, Carroll said the suspect appeared to be a, quote, lone gunman that raised the firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard as they patrolled near a mass transit station in downtown D.C. A horrific incident, in my opinion, whichever way you look at it, regardless of your politics. But there are some very interesting and peculiar things the mainstream media doesn't want us talking about.
Remember, what you're about to say, CNN didn't show it to you. These are supposed to be the journalists. Yo, Lee is on his own. There's no corporations paying him. Our tax dollars not paying him. He did this investigation on his own. Listen.
Per my research, on November 20th, which is just 6 days prior to the attack, Google search trends showed a small but documented and noticeable aberration in searches for one Ramanullah Lakhanwal, originating from the D.C. metro area.
All right, so what is he saying? In the D.C. area, 6 days before it even happened, his name was being Googled. Who was Googling his name 6 days before it happened that didn't know him? He's an Afghan national all the way across the country. He's saying he looked it up to see what if somebody was Googling him, and they did Google him. Somebody Googled him from there. Keep listening.
I then zoomed in to look at more closely the search activity for just the day of the attack, and I was absolutely shocked, just floored by what I saw. Because
why would you be searching about somebody you don't know? This is before the attack. He's saying he Googled this up. I don't know how to do this. I got to start doing this myself. But he said he Googled it up to see if people searched him up. Look
at that. There is a massive spike in searches for Lakhanwal in the wee hours of the morning of November 26th. Once again, that is the day of the attack. A spike, I might add, that completely dwarfs even the number of searches after the news of the shooting broke later that afternoon. Here is a screen recording that I took just to make sure the evidence is preserved, which, by the way, has already been wiped by Google.
So who wiped it? Why is it wiped out of Google? You mean, like, there is nothing. There is no reason to trust anything that this government says. And this government extends to their social media platform, to their, you got to cut off, you got to mute your mic. This government extends to their platforms, to the social media, because they own everything. Who wiped it? Why would you wipe it? Well, I'm going to let them keep going.
Of course, the question still remains, why would there have been people searching for this guy's name a week prior to the attack, and then another massive spike in the early morning hours the day of the attack? That strikes me as very strange.
Me too.
Another very strange data point, 4 days prior, someone, probably multiple, most likely, in the state of Israel, was searching for the name Sarah Beckstrom, the National Guard soldier who tragically lost her life during the November 26th attack in D.C. What is that all about? Well, it has since been uncovered that the alleged shooter, Ramanullah Lakhanwal, was, in fact, a former CIA contractor in Afghanistan.
Authorities confirming the alleged attacker, 29-year-old Ramanullah Lakhanwal, drove across the country from his home in Washington state to carry out the shooting. Confirming, too, that the married father of 5 was a member of an Afghan...
You see his rank? E5. He's a sergeant. You making a nice little paycheck right here. E5. Yo, they had him since he was 15. They flipped him, turned him to CIA, controlling him.
He's a sleeper agent.
You say what?
Sleeper agent.
I can't hear you.
I said he was a sleeper agent. You hear me?
Hey, no, I ain't saying that. I'm just letting the evidence guide us where we going. You heard, Shab? Let me play.
Unit in the city of Kandahar that worked closely with the CIA, brought to the United States amid the U.S. military withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021.
This individual is in this country for one reason and one reason alone, because of the...
Look at the head of your FBI. In what world would this goofball, he looked like he always high. Where would he be the head of my FBI? Just look at this guy. Yo, listen to him, it's even worse. And then look at this one over here. This golden girl over here.
He like picked a bunch of like podcasters and like reality show judges. Like all these people is from the entertainment business.
And
Like,
remember,
he's not serious at all.
and remember, we're talking about class. Look back here. I think her name is Bowser. I think it's the mayor out there. Look at her. She's standing right there behind him. She's standing with the power. Remember, Du Bois was saying that we needed these jobs. Du Bois was saying we just need these jobs. We need to work on ourselves to get these jobs. This is how. Look, we got the jobs. Ain't nothing changing in our communities. They got them there. She looked like me, but her philosophy, her ideology is imperialist.
Disastrous withdrawal from the Biden administration and the failure to vet in any way.
You see that? He said this is from the Biden administration and the failure to vet. Hey, yo, earlier this year, I think it was in February, where they told, bro, you could stay, so y'all didn't vet him? Huh? Head of the FBI, you didn't vet him? Yo, nobody goes
That man been vetted through and through. He worked for the CIA. They vetted him.
Yo, every single crime, everything that happens, yo, did anybody go to jail for Trump getting shot in the ear? Has anybody been to jail for any of these things that happen out here? Has any official been to jail? Yo, the judicial system is only set for people that are poor, that don't have enough money to be able to hire people or connections to stay out of them jails. All these people are sociopaths and liars.
They shape or form. This individual and countless others, Kash Patel, seemingly always 3 steps behind. Clearly, now you can see he's playing politics instead of trying to actually figure out what the heck happened. Because officials say that, yes, Lockenwall came to the U.S. from Afghanistan in 2021 during the Biden administration and applied for asylum in 2024. But according to 3 law enforcement sources, Lockenwall was granted asylum yet again in April of 2025, this time under President Donald Trump.
So not March, April, January, February, March. Yeah, April. Right here, April. The Trump administration said, yeah, bro, you could stay, man. You good. But now they're saying Biden. They're going back and forth. Instead of finding out, yo, why were they searching about Sarah in in Israel? Yo, why were they looking up this guy? Who was searching him up? You see, if I was doing an investigation, yo, I'm going to the people that were searching him up. Yo, why was you searching him up? How did you know this person? You see, that's the first thing I'm doing. I'm going to dispel all of these things. But that's not what they're doing. They're going back and forth, fighting with each other.
So the big question is, was it really a quote-unquote lone gunman, or could this have been something more?
Yeah.
Something like maybe a domestic false flag operation, or maybe even a U.S.
Few more minutes, because I want everybody to get chime in. So let me see what he's saying. A childhood friend who asked for identity only with Muhammad because he feared Taliban. I mean, on the show, we're going to let this whole video play out. But for now, I want to end it here because we got 6 minutes left. So, yeah, if anybody got something to say, chime in real quick. But as you see, the whole reason why I played all of this, to show that there's no rule of law. There's no democracy. These people do what they want to do. And we are all here at the behest of these corporations. These corporations that control these politicians. It's been the same forever. Since we read the Philadelphia Negro. This is the same thing they were talking about in the Philadelphia Negro. We have no power here. We are all subjects. But go ahead. Anybody got something real quick? General Secretary, come on. Stop, share, whatever. So just chime in if you got something to say, because you know I'm about to end. Go ahead.
No, I'm coming. But go to the last slide.
Go to the last slide. Go to the last slide. Go to the last slide. This one.
So this slide, this past week, there was a community meeting with a developer.
Oh man, yo, General Secretary.
I'm gonna play it for the last 5 minutes unless somebody got something to say.
Hold on, General Secretary. Do you think we should save this and play it next week, or do you want to talk about it now? Because I wanted the people to speak for themselves.
All right, we can play it next week.
Yeah, let's save this for next week, yo, because this is part of it too. When we talk about our communities, yo, everybody always say local politics, local politics, local politics. Start locally. Yo, all these people that you're seeing on the screen are going to explain to you. They're going to show you in real time how local politics is worse than federal. Because they're talking about housing, the corporations coming in, and all these people from the community came out and said, yo, we don't want these corporations. We don't want them coming here. We don't want these slum lords. But the politicians do what they want to do. They give out the tax abatement. They allow these corporations to do whatever they want to do. And they have these fake meetings to try to act like they ask the community for their input. I mean, but we're going to save this for next week. Please don't forget, General Secretary, because I want to let these people, I want to let these community members speak for themselves. Because all we're doing is highlighting the contradiction. So, yeah, a few more minutes left. Yo, come on, anybody want to chime in real quick?
Oh, yeah, I do. I have an announcement. We are getting ready for our holiday gift distribution to the children in the community. We are getting gifts from babies all the way to high school, because we be forgetting our teenagers, our elementary schools, so we need gifts for them. If you want to donate, please hit the Cash App, which is $, I Live for the People, or you can reach out to me at our email. It's at nabppnork@gmail. But, hit the inbox, social media. But, yes, we're collecting gifts for our holiday gift distribution. No, we don't celebrate holidays, but we meet the people where they're at, and these kids want gifts. So if you can help in any way, please support.
Nah, because we fund this as an organization. Every year we go out. Because, there are kids in the hood that don't get no presents. That don't get anything. Like, how you think that feel? We go to the door. We ring the door, and we give them the gifts. Like, we don't come as Santa Claus. We come as ourselves as the Black Panther Party. And we give these gifts out to the children in the community. Just like we did for Thanksgiving, we went out with food, and we gave food to the people that are starving. Our duty is to serve the community. That's what our duty is as Panthers. I mean, so, like, if you want to donate, if you feel like this is what you want to do, hey, donate. But if you don't, it is what it is. We still, by hook or crook, we're going to still make it happen. I mean, so look, unless somebody got something else to say, we got 2 minutes. Talk to me. Hurry up, because I got to end the show.
One thing I'd love to discuss at some point, I don't know if it's better suited for here or the political course discussion. You talk about being Maoist, Marxist, Leninist, which I totally get, especially the origins of the party. But from my own studying, I wonder if we're at the point where it's straight up Marxism in America, because Marxism talks about the communism coming out of end-stage capitalism, and those Marxist-Leninist Maoisms, that was kind of forced communism through revolution. And I feel like in America, we're at the point where it's the natural evolution of the economic structure where communism would emerge out of end-stage capitalism. I'd love to have that discussion at some point with you guys.
No, we can talk about it. Put a pin on it. Write it down. We can talk about it in class this week on Wednesday. Yeah, we have a political education class every Wednesday. So we'll talk about it there. But, like, I'm going to say it again. When I study these people, Mao, Marx, all of these people, I look through there and I see what applies. So when I study Mao, I look at his reading. Like, if you read not the Communist Manifesto, the writings by Chairman Mao, he talks about the discipline, the principles, the things you have to do as an organization to make sure the organization is not fractured. I take that from his studying about organizing. Who do you organize? Mao said go organize the people in the ghetto. He didn't put it like that. He didn't say ghetto. He said bushes. The people, the service in the bushes, the people that he said go down there. These are the people that are catching hell. Go down and organize them. So that's where I be coming from when I talk about these people. But no problem. We're going to get to it during class. But till next week, unless somebody want to say something, I ain't going to never silence nobody.
Another great program. Learned a lot, Chairman Africa and General Patience. Very good program. Keep on doing what you guys doing.
Thank you, Bezu. Thank you, Bezu. Till next week, all power to the people. I live for the people. I die for the people. End meeting.